Speak for yourself, pal. Not sure I'm actually ready to go. But away we go, and we welcome you to it. A brand new week. Happy Monday, everybody. Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios right here in San Diego. There we are, popping up. And out of focus, and now back in focus on the YouTube feed. Tony Gwynn Jr. is, of course, calling the ball game right now. Padres taking on the Cleveland Guardians.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not? They're playing the Cubs.
They're split squad.
Yeah, they're split squad. And you had me watching the Guardian game. Or no?
No, the Cubs game. Because that's where Tony and Jesse were at.
They're at the Cubs game.
At home.
7-2 Cubs, top of the seventh.
Yeah, not as good of a game for the Padres today as it was on Friday.
Well, they started with a couple of spring wins, and now it looks like they're going to get a couple of spring losses. My guy, E-Guy Rosario, has hit a home run in this game. Eggy, batting in the leadoff spot, interestingly. Something maybe you want to read into that out there.
Oh, I will, Chris.
I'm sure you will. I'm pretty sure Luis Ariz is going to hold down that spot when the season starts, but you never can tell. Eggy hit a 2-run homer today. That accounted for the Padres scoring. Otherwise, it was a 2-2 game until the 6th. And then J.B. Wendelken, who had some success as a relief pitcher, I believe with Seattle a couple of years ago.
His
maybe
name does
Milwaukee.
sound familiar.
Yeah, he was Arizona. I think he's been with 2 or 3 teams. Anyway, Padres signed him, kind of one of those quiet signings during the offseason, non-roster invite type thing. He may stay off the roster. 2/3 of an inning today, 5 runs. So that does not help you when you're trying to make a baseball team, especially when you're trying to make it on this bullpen. Mm-hmm. And this Padre bullpen is absolutely loaded unless a trade is made. I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. They have 7 guys, in my mind, the Padres, right now, that are guaranteed to make the team out of the bullpen alone. Suarez, Jason Adam, right? Estrada would be 3. Then you're going to go with the left-handers. You've got Peralta, Matsui, and you've got Morejon. That's 6. And then I think Bobby Hoying is the 7th one. Brian Hoying. I know who's Bobby Hoying. He's an old quarterback for the Patriots. Bobby Hoying. You know, when you've been around sports as long as me, you start mixing some of these guys up. No, Brian Hoying, you're right. So that's 7. And
Sean Reynolds was possibly, but he hurt himself.
He's a little nicked up, but that's 8. Tom Cosgrove has been in the big leagues. The guy who pitched today, Marinaccio, another
from the
pickup.
Yankees.
Right, he's a guy that, is pretty well almost guaranteed a spot if there is a spot. So I don't know how somebody like Wendelken's even going to make it, even if he pitched lights out. But 5 runs today is not going to help his cause.
No.
Michael Busch hit a 3-run homer off him for the Cubs. So that's where they're at. I did see the most overreaction tweet ever yesterday.
Was it from me?
It wasn't even from you.
Wow.
This has got to be the biggest overreaction I've ever seen. And it had something to do with the fact that the Padres dilly-dallied all during the offseason, and then they think that they did something by signing Nick Pivetta. But the bottom line is they don't have anywhere near the depth of the great Dodgers, and that was proven yesterday somehow.
It was. I mean,
during a spring training game.
You know what, to that person, Chris?
Are you kidding me?
They have high expectations.
My goodness, they lost a spring training game with minor leaguers playing in the late innings. The Dodgers scored 5 runs to win the game. And this tweeter thinks that means the Padres just aren't, they don't match up based on a spring training result.
I would like for that person to realize that Leo Dallas DeVries made a great play against Mookie Betts at shortstop in the first inning.
Salas hit a double
off
yesterday,
the center
right?
field wall. Yeah. I mean, hey, to that person, those 2 are depth pieces.
The bottom line, without question, is that the Dodgers may eventually prove to be much better than the Padres and have much more depth. After all, they've spent, about $1 billion. But that was certainly not proved by the outcome of a spring training game. So let's be clear about that.
I also see a lot of and this was kind of a daily gripe last week, but a lot of writers out there, baseball writers, talking about Shohei Ohtani like he's already won the MVP. I really want to see him do this, because there's also writers out there that are saying that this shoulder injury that he's had, that he sustained in the World Series, is not an easy shoulder injury to come back from. And it's taking out the likes of Cody Bellinger and Jesse Winker back in the day.
Yeah, but Shohei Ohtani's
he is a unicorn.
Yes, he's strange. We'll see. I don't know. I can't give him the MVP award before the season starts. There's some pretty good players in the National League. But if he pitches, and remember the shoulder injury was the non-throwing shoulder that he hurt in the World Series. Not his throwing shoulder.
No, I knew
So,
that. It's not going to affect his pitching. It still affects his swing.
Yeah, I don't know that anything affects that guy's swing. And I mean, he had 54 homers and stole 50 bases. You talk about something that's no one's ever even come close to doing before.
Yeah, he's in his own club.
He's in a whole world. So, whatever. Shohei Ohtani's going to do Shohei Ohtani things, probably one way or the other. I'm not really worried about him. More worried about our guys. And, Manny opened up spring with a first pitch home run. That's better than what happened to him in his first at-bat last year in spring training. Do you remember what happened to him in his first at-bat last year?
Was it a pitch clock violation?
He became the first batter to be called out on strikes because he wasn't in the box in time for the pitch count or the pitch clock.
Was the pitch clock introduced last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah, no, last year. He was the first one. He was the first one that was dilly-dallying outside the box, and they waved him out. And I thought, well, that's a great start to spring training.
Yep.
But this year, a little better start to spring training for Manny. Anyway, Padres taking on the Cubs. They're in the 7th inning. They are playing in Peoria, which we mentioned because that means Tony has a chance after the game to get back to his castle.
Abode.
Yeah, his castle, and hopefully get set up and join us for the second half of the show. So we will look forward to that. We're going to talk a lot of baseball today. Of course, with the spring training and everything going on, I think Ben and Woods, I started with Woods there. I can't do that.
No, you can.
No, you can't. You
Have
absolutely.
you ever heard
I've never heard them referred to as Woods and Ben, ever.
But
Not even close.
I think when
I don't think
Ben's
it's ever
gone,
happened before.
Is it Woods and Paul or Paul and Woods? They
I don't
changed
know.
the name a little bit.
I don't know what they do when Ben is gone, but my point is you can't start with Ben. You just absolutely can't do that.
It's like you can't start
It doesn't work.
with Elston. You can't start with Chris either, I guess.
Yeah, Gwynn and Chris rolls off the tongue. And Chris and Gwynn, no good. Ben and Woods are going to be at spring training broadcasting there on from the Peoria Sports Complex Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure you tune in the mornings. You get all the interviews. We're going to make our trip over there in the middle of March. Skraby,
March
you and
16th is the day I'm leaving.
Yeah, we will be over there in the middle of March. But Ben and Woods will be providing on-site spring training coverage for all of you starting on Wednesday. I shouldn't have gone this long without mentioning it, but are you ready to be a soccer-crazed city, Skrabe? Last night, soccer overtook the sports landscape in San Diego, if only for a couple of hours.
I had a very different experience than you.
Yes, you did. SDFC wins as an expansion team over the defending MLS Cup champions. They beat them in their building. You know how many games the Galaxy lost at home last year, Skraby? All year?
I'm going to say 0.
0. Did not lose a single game at home last year. And the SDFC guy, I'm telling you, 2-0. They should have beat him by more. The LA Galaxy goalie made 2 or 3 saves in the second half that bordered on sublime. Otherwise, it would have been 4 or 5-0. And I mean, I don't know that LA even threatened. They might have got a couple of looks at the goal, but I mean, it was a dominating performance. I mean, honestly, imagine an expansion team walking into an NFL game, opening up at Kansas City or something against Mahomes and the Chiefs, and winning 40-10.
That would be a big deal.
You know, you'd be like, whoa, what happened there?
That would definitely be a big deal.
So that's what happened there. And I have to say, look, we're all, at least I am, in kind of a wait and see. to see just how popular this is going to be, how big of a deal this is going to be. I'm hoping it's a big deal because we need and now have another, major sports pro franchise. I want it to do well. They had not one section of fans at the Dignity Sports Complex up there. They had 4 full sections of all San Diego fans.
Wow.
At that match last night. They were obviously going crazy. They had viewing parties here in San Diego that were
I did see that.
Jam-packed.
Yeah.
And look, the team wins its first game, and now they come home. They open up here on Saturday. It's a great start. You got to say that. Now, you said you had a different experience. What was your experience?
My experience was
that you forgot the game was even played, didn't you?
No, I knew the game was being played. I knew it was happening on Sunday at 4:30.
Okay.
But I don't have Apple. And I think this is Apple TV.
Right.
I think this is a big problem for MLS. And I know it's not San Diego FC's fault because this is just what.
No, this is the TV
this
contract.
Is MLS.
Yeah, it's the TV contract they have.
So it's not on them. But MLS needs. I know that they need money, which is what Apple is probably paying them to
tons of
broadcast
money.
the game.
Tons of money.
But it's a huge what's the word I'm looking for, Chris? Help me him. Disadvantage for them to not have their games for free.
Well, last night's game was. Because
but you still have to have Apple TV.
You have to, right, you're right. I do have Apple TV. I flipped it on to see if there was any access to the game. Because I don't have the MLS package. I'm certainly not going to get the MLS package. I'm not that big of a soccer fan.
How much is it, by the way?
I don't know. You could look that up. But I turned on Apple TV, and I found, luckily, that every Sunday night now, Apple shows one game for free. And it so happened that it was last night's, game.
I did know that, yeah.
So that I watched and allowed me to watch the game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, congrats to those guys for going in there, storming in there, and winning that game, in pretty comfortable fashion. Now, I was ready to make fun of it because, me with soccer, in the first half, there were a combined 0 shots on goal.
Really?
0 shots on goal in the first half.
Okay.
And you know how I feel about soccer. I need a little more action than that. But the second half more than made up for it because the SDFC was all over them.
I'm getting tons of suggestions about how to watch. So by the way, it's if you're not an Apple TV subscriber, it's $14.99 a month or $99 for a full season. For subscribers, it's $12.99 a month or $79. And then on T-Mobile, you could also apparently get it for free. The biggest problem for me is I don't want to buy Apple TV just to watch the MLS.
But
I guess I don't have to, but I also have to pay more.
I know. Yeah, you'd have to pay $99.
And this is not me trying to take away from SDFC's win. I'm just saying I wanted to watch the game.
Yeah, I did. And so that's why I got into it and got really excited. So congrats to those guys. We'll talk more about them getting their opening win. The Aztecs in Utah. We're waiting to find out the MRI results on the knee for Magoon Gwath. Supposed to come down some point today. Obviously, that's going to be a big deal going forward. So stick around. We're underway. Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was gonna say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say. I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, put me on. And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them, because I find the name beaver nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was gonna say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say. I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel.
Hey, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 2:19 is the time. Chris Ello, Matt Skraby together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. is in Peoria calling the spring training game at which the Cubs now lead over the Padres 8-3. Forrest Wall has just driven in a run.
Your
for
guy.
The Friars. I like Forrest. Run, Forrest, run. Or drive-in runs, Forrest. Whatever it takes. 8-3 Cubs, though, with the lead, bottom of the seventh. So hopefully we'll get a final coming in soon. We'll get Tony back in business here, joining us perhaps for the second half of the program. We spent the break, Skraby and I, looking to buy some tickets to the match Saturday. I mean, after all, is it likely that there's going to be ever more excitement / interest in SDFC, the new soccer team, than there would be right now? You've got the historic home opener. You've been waiting, right, for soccer to come back to San Diego.
What, 2 years since they announced almost?
They said it yesterday. I think it was 600 and some odd days. Yeah,
Wow.
So about 2 years since they announced it. And all the years leading up to that, where, San Diego, hey, we're big-time soccer people. This is it. We need the MLS. It should be here. We've got the border. We've got all the fans from Mexico.
We got sports-hungry fans.
It's built, and then Snapdragon Stadium is built for the Aztecs, but just as much it's built for soccer, right? It's a perfect soccer stadium. You can basically sit on the field.
Yeah.
Right? There's hardly any bad seats because it's not a big football bowl where the stadium's in the middle. I mean, it's a soccer field in a lot of ways. So Skraby and I said, let's go. We should get a couple of tickets. It's the home opener. It's the first game ever. They're coming on. They beat the LA Galaxy. I'm going soccer crazy. I want to sit at midfield. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Tickets are quite a bit.
They're pricey.
Quite a bit. I don't want to. I don't even want to give the ticket prices because that's not my thing. I don't want to sit here and say, well, they're charging too much or charging too little. They're charging what I guess they think they should charge. But can I at least say that the cheapest ticket that's available?
I think it's
right
fair
now,
to say this is what they're charging.
Okay.
It's fine.
Well, the cheapest ticket that you could get, according to their website right now, because I'm on the website, I'm trying to, it says ticket available, $86.
That's the cheapest.
That's the absolute cheapest. And I'm telling you, that's not a center cut seat.
Section 332, row 23.
Well, it's, anyway. All right. So you want to go to the very first match, you're going to have to pay up. But, that was.
I figure I want to see.
It was a great start last night. But here's the thing, and you brought it up. Because I don't want to be negative right now. I want to be upbeat. I'm excited about it. I really was. I enjoyed watching it last night.
Chris came in here fired up.
I am. So I don't want to try to get too down and out about it. But you're right about the fact the game was on Apple TV last night. If you have it, it was free. So if you have Apple TV, which I do, you can see it. But when is the next match going to be available? Remember,
Next time they play a Sunday night.
Apple TV does a Sunday night game for free. I think Fox does a Saturday game once a week. But if you're not one of those games, I mean, how else can I see this team play?
Go. You have to go.
$86 to sit where I can barely see the match.
See, for me,
I shouldn't say that. It's not a bad seat because
No.
there isn't a bad seat in the house.
but it's farther away.
It's pretty far away, and it's $86
Now,
cheapest.
if I always put myself, would I buy these tickets if I was, a huge soccer fan? And I don't know that I can afford $87 ticket.
Not a lot of people can.
I
mean, I'm being honest about that.
And I'm saying that genuinely.
Yeah,
I
it's a lot
wouldn't
of
be
money.
able to just drop almost $90 on a ticket, which I do understand they have to make their money somehow. But some of these tickets, and I know that it's the opening game, so I want to see what happens to the ticket
Right,
prices.
maybe the
as they
ticket
go.
prices go down. Right, you're right. That's a good point.
But they have the Field Club, which I understand is going to charge a lot, but $1,000 for a Field Club ticket, which I understand. Again, they need to make money, but I want to see if the tickets go down as we get going in the season.
Can I just say one quick thing? I'm going to throw this out there.
Oh, plus parking too. Our boss Adam is saying.
All right. I don't want to be negative about this. I want to be excited, man. It was a great start. You can't ask for anything better. But Lori and I, a couple years ago, you remember this, we were traveling. We were in
Yes.
Spain.
Yes, I do.
And as, we're like, wow.
You saw
Let's
what?
go
Real
to
Madrid?
no, we saw FC Barcelona.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't remember. I was trying to remember how much the tickets were. Now, this was a regular, normal midseason game. It wasn't a home opener. It wasn't anything like that. Anyway, I'm on their website right now. There's a match, FC Barcelona, tomorrow night. You and I can get tickets for $78 each.
Who are they playing?
I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, so is that
Well,
Does that mean that what the SDFC is charging is a fair price?
It does tell me that.
Or does it tell you that SDFC is crazy thinking it can charge more than FC Barcelona can charge?
No, it tells me that they're probably right on with their pricing if that's what other leagues are being priced at.
Okay. There you go.
I'm not complaining. People are going to pay the money for the tickets. And I hate to say it this way, but I'm going to the game with Adam. And we have our media credentials because we're going to go work it.
You're going to go the media thing.
But, and you know, I've bought Padres tickets before. It's not about that. It's just $87 is a lot for me personally. But people are saying on the chat that they've already bought tickets and they're already ready to go. Also, Edward says that there were $25 single game tickets if you were a supporter, I guess they call them.
Okay.
So there's other ways
if you're
of
an
getting
athletic
cheaper
supporter.
Tickets. Prolific is calling me cheap, and I understand.
I don't think you're cheap. 87's a lot of money.
No one knows how much money I make either, so it's not like I'm rolling in the dough.
We're also telling you that that's the cheapest ticket. There's other tickets in this stadium for the game Saturday night that are insanely more money than 87.
But if you're saying 78 is a get-in price for FC Barcelona and they're saying 87, I'm fine with that.
All right. Well, either way, I hope a lot of people go. I'd love for them to open up with a sellout. You know, I'll be honest with you, it looks like to me on the website there's quite a few tickets available. I don't work in the ticket office, so don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
But it sure looks like there's a lot of tickets available for the game Saturday. It's historic. It's the first time they've ever played, and you're welcoming them home after a great win last night.
And you should go and get them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 7 sections with the $87 tickets, and then it goes up to $100. So if you want these tickets right now, you need to go to their website. SDFC's website and go to the Ticketmaster location.
Right. They win 2-0 last night. Really impressive, and I'm as pumped up as I'm probably going to get. Now, like I said, I don't want them now to disappear from my view for the next 4 months, and that's where you come in with your thing about how do you watch these matches. Like
someone's given me a couple people have given me ways to watch. the matches.
Well, I know what you're saying out there.
Legally watch the matches.
Yes, legally watch the matches. I know what you people are saying out there. There are little websites you can find and little things you can do, but not a lot of people are going to go that hard out of their way to watch, unless you're if you're a crazy soccer fan, you'll do whatever you got to do.
It.
But I'm not worried about the crazy soccer fan. I know they're going to follow this team. What I want is to be able to bring others into the mix.
Yeah.
That's what I get concerned with.
Either way, it was a great start for them. That was best case scenario for them.
Incredible start. I mean, they're the talk of the MLS.
They're the talk of the MLS.
I mean, that's just right now, bang. Wow.
I even got people from MLS broadcasting hitting me up in my email saying, hey, SDFC, big game yesterday. You want someone on the show this week? And I said, sure, let's do it.
Gotta have
somebody.
somebody.
That's how big of a deal it was.
It was big. It was big, and I'm glad I got to see it. I'm sure a lot of people did. All right, when we come back, anything more on the Padres we'll catch you up on, but also the San Diego State basketball game Saturday night had a moment that I thought was handled so embarrassingly bad by the officials that I honestly think the officials working that game should be suspended at the very least. At the very least.
You don't ever go this far.
And I am as you know, I always am on the side of the officials. But I can't be...
Go to our resident referee, Chris LIVE.
I can't do it after what I saw Saturday night.
Wow.
We'll talk about it when we come back. Aztecs lose at Utah State. But I'm angrier about what happened during that game, as should the Aztecs. We'll discuss more on Gwynn and Chris.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, you know. I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a guy who I consider well-educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of conversations, phone calls, doctor visits. I vetted 3-4 different doctor options. Called everybody I knew that had Tommy John. Called guys that had had it twice, and what the difference was the second time around compared to the first. So
this is your first, correct?
my first one, yeah. So I feel like I've done every bit of the homework that I could. I feel like I was as prepared and as educated on the process as possible. And now it's just putting the the lessons that I've learned from other people and their experiences, along with the feel and the trust that I have for myself.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here on 97.3 The Fan. And Joe, last year you called into our show, and
yeah, there we go.
you played a prank on me, and it was a really good prank because my heart stopped a beat for a second, and it still does. But I appreciate you doing that. This is the first time we've actually been able to talk about it.
Little locker room talk. It's all good, baby.
I told him, I told these folks that his eyes almost popped out of his head when Joe got on that phone.
Well, yeah, when I'm told I can't come into the clubhouse, it's a little concerning, considering, I'm not that crazy of a guy, but
no,
anyway.
you're good by us down there. You're
Okay,
welcome
good.
whenever.
All right. I just wanted to ask you about the mental side of things, because it's got to be hard knowing you're coming into the year you're not going to pitch.
Right.
But you still have to keep working. How do you stay in that zone?
I think, first off, it's a little bit of a relief. It's a chance to kind of step back from, the constant mentality and approach of like being on edge and getting ready and prepared, and just the stresses that, any ball player deals with on the day-to-day of like mechanics feeling out of whack, or as spring gets closer, maybe you haven't hit the checkpoints that you want to hit, or things aren't, as consistent as you like it to be. So not having to deal with those stresses has been super nice. I've been able to focus on life a little bit, got engaged, got a new home, made some moves. So it's been really good. And I think, once I had the surgery, I knew what was ahead of me and, how long the road was. And, it took a little while to get to a good headspace, but I feel like I'm in a great spot now. And, I was saying earlier out on the stage, I'm not claiming to be Superman, but I really believe in my ability to heal and, my ability to, to push my body and get it ready. So I'm preparing and shooting for a return in the postseason at some point. And if, we're a month away from that and I realize it's a long shot, I'm completely fine with, sitting out and, preparing for 26. But I keep myself busy, man. I've really tried to be an extension of the coaching staff and, provide, assistance and help and, experience and, things that help these younger guys and, some of our guys that are transitioning to a starting role, help their careers grow. So, keep myself busy and keeping tasks, to have, at my fingertips, things to work on has been a good relief for me.
Joseph Musgrove in the building.
Give him a round of applause, everyone.
What's up? It's not a bad setup right here, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. How you doing, Joe?
I feel great, man. Yeah, really good. Excited.
I heard you say on the stage today, 2 months away from throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
What are those 2 months going to be like for you?
A lot of patience, I've been working really hard, man. Been really diligent with the rehab. The strengthening stuff has all been, right on par. I've kind of hit every checkpoint with ease. And that was something that was told to me early on is like, really give it the time that you need on the front end. You don't throw for 6 months regardless. So, don't try to go out and be a hero and get yourself throwing in 4 months. Just, do all the rehab, hit all the checkpoints, and then, maybe make up some time on the back end, once I'm consistently throwing. So strength feels really good. It's just, getting the shoulder moving again and back in like certain ranges before I start playing catch.
For those who may not know, I don't think it was ever going to be in question whether Joe was going to attack his rehab the way he has already started to attack it. This is one of the most hard-working people I've ever been around. But this is new territory for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a guy who I consider well educated on anything he's about to walk through.
Yeah.
What was your education like leading up to surgery? I know you must have talked to a billion people. You don't leave stones unturned.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting yourself prepared for this surgery?
Yeah, I got a notebook full of pages of.
It's the time we welcome you back to Gwynn and Chris. Chris, hello. Tony Gwynn Jr. broadcasting down in Peoria right now. Padres trailing the Cubs 8-4. Tony, hopefully, join us in the next hour or so. We'll catch up with him after the ball game is over. Eggy Rosario providing half of the Padres' runs today with a 2-run homer. A good stat dug up here by the producer of our program.
Who's that?
That's you.
Oh. What'd I put in there?
Apparently, all 13 extra base hits that Eggy Rosario had last year were against lefties. He's a right-handed batter, so he hits lefties well.
Yep.
Today, he homered off a righty.
You want to know where I got that?
From Jesse, I imagine.
It was
on
Jesse.
The broadcast.
It totally
I
was.
can't believe you would look that up. So
no, I would definitely look it up, but it wouldn't come to my mind to look it up when Jesse said it.
No, Jesse's on stuff like that.
He really is.
That's why Jesse's Jesse.
Eggy Rosario needs to be on this team, Chris.
He's going to be. He made my 26-man roster, the one I gave out a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
His power.
He's going to be on the
good.
club. He's going to make it. He can play third. He's not going to need to play third, but you know what I'm saying? He can play left.
He can play multiple
He's playing
places.
left right now, DHing, infield, outfield, and he can hit. I'm pretty sure Eggy's going to make the team.
Ooh, I think we just got another on the chat. Tirso bomb.
Tirso Ornelas has just gone deep for the Friars.
Things are looking up, Chris.
All of a sudden, left field is looking jam-packed.
It is.
Right?
We're not joking
We got
either.
Tirso Ornelas homering. We got Rosario homering today. It's now 8-5.
What about Oscar Gonzalez?
Oscar Gonzalez has been tearing the cover. He's hitting 455.
I'll take it.
And this guy started for the Guardians just 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the lineup when they went to the postseason, starting in the outfield.
Yes.
I didn't even know the Padres had him, honestly.
Oh, I did. I've been following his entire. No, of course. I was like, who? Oscar
hell knew
Gonzalez went like 3 for 4 on Friday. I'm like, who's this?
Oh, he's been raking in spring so far. 1 for 2 today.
Cactus League champion. Here we come.
I don't care.
I know you don't.
Oscar Gonzalez with the spring OPS of 1,091.
Ooh, that's
right. Don't mess with Oscar Gonzalez. I mean,
love it.
Look, everybody who wants left field is hitting like crazy right now.
That's exactly
except for Connor Joe.
He just
he doesn't have a hit yet,
but he walks a bunch.
He's got a couple of walks. All right. Anyway, it's a little early for all of this stuff.
No, it's not. We need to know what's happening in left field, and left field is looking like a good.
You need to
spot
start.
right
you
now.
need to start overreacting in the 4th game of the season, which is exactly what you're doing.
Chris, when I came on the air on Friday, waiting for Tony to,
that was
to
one
join the
game,
show,
and you were overreacting.
it was the first game, and I said,
"Yeah,
I know it's just the first game, but that was great."
Right, they won the first game, big deal.
In convincing fashion, Manny Machado goes yard on the first pitch.
All right, yeah, well, print the tickets for the Fall Classic. A couple of notes that we should pass along, and then we're going to get to this Aztec situation and the officials. Saturday night, Sean Reynolds, you mentioned it a little earlier, but he's wearing a walking boot. He's going to have that protective footwear for another week and a half or so. Reynolds really was sharp last year. And, a lot of people said this guy's got closers stuff, but I don't think he's going to make the team. We already talked about it. There's so many bullpen guys right now. Hoying has already been guaranteed the 7th spot. There's only really one spot up for grabs, and there's a lot of guys going for it. But if you don't make the opening day roster, it doesn't mean you're not going to pitch at some time.
Yeah, he could
during the big league
he
season.
Can be brought up at any moment.
And you can shuffle guys up and down, right? A little bit. And like if one guy's pitched 2 or 3 days in a row, you can send him down and bring another guy up to be ready. Anyway, so it takes more than the opening day roster is what I mean. So Reynolds will be a key guy, but just probably not at the beginning. Hoying has been going through a little arm fatigue.
Which doesn't really make me feel comfortable going into a season, but...
Well, you got a month to go. So he's got a month to get the arm not fatigued. It says here he's expected to pitch Monday, not in the game today.
And Fernando's been dealing with a flu, but he's supposed to be
Who
back
cares?
here.
Who cares about Fernando? He's according to our friend Buster Polney.
Yes.
And I'm now going to call him Buster Polney forever, unfortunately. Fernando is only the, what do you think? Best corner outfielder in baseball.
Oh, man, they moved Mookie, so he's not in right anymore.
It's not just right fielders. This is any
outfield.
Corner outfielder.
Why not just do right
That's
field,
what
left
Buster
field?
only did. He said corner outfielders, top 10. Does Fernando rank?
He has to rank, but does he rank ahead of the Gold Glove winning Juan Soto, who actually makes a lot of mistakes in right field?
Juan Soto's going to be on this list. I think you
For
can
Fernando
be sure
ranks,
of that.
yes. He's a platinum glove guy 2 years ago.
Fernando's got to be on this list.
He's number 4.
He's not.
He's not on the list?
He's not number 4.
Oh.
Top corner outfielder, according to Buster only, Aaron Judge.
He's not. Oh, I guess he did move.
Yeah, he's moving. Second, Juan Soto. Nobody cares if Juan Soto ever catches a fly ball. He's so dominant at the plate that they just don't care. They just don't care. I would care if I was pitching and Juan Soto was chasing fly balls all over the place, but hey, that's just me. I do not agree with this choice, number 3, Buster only. Kyle Tucker. Good player, really excellent. He's not as good as number 4, Ronald Acuna. I don't think he's as good as number 5, Corbin Carroll. I'm not sure Corbin Carroll should be there because he really stunk it up last year compared to his rookie year. And I don't think Kyle Tucker's as good as number 6. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Who'd you say was at number 4?
Acuna.
And number 3 was Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. I'm not enamored with the choice of Kyle Tucker ahead of both Acuna and Tatis.
I think Acuna needs to be lower. He's missed 2 out of the last 3 seasons with major injuries.
The one he played, he was the MVP.
So?
That counts for something.
I'm happy that Buster only at least put Fernando at 6.
I don't know. 6 seems a little low.
Fernando, if I'm going to call the injury card, Fernando was injured last year too. So I can't say that he was playing every single game.
Here's one thing that Buster only did that I liked on his list. Honorable mention, corner outfielder, the greatest player in the history of the sport.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. Yeah, that's right.
I apologized to Mike Trout last week.
Is Mike Trout's moving to right field, so he's now a corner outfielder. Buster only doesn't even rank the greatest player ever to lace him up as a top 10 corner outfielder.
Well,
just a reminder.
He's technically a center fielder,
but he's not now. He's a corner outfielder, and Buster won't rank him in the top 10.
Wow,
good for you, Buster.
I'm good with it, except for the number 6 of Fernando.
All right, the Aztecs lost to Utah State. 79-71 Saturday night. Final score was not indicative. The Aztecs actually led by 4 with under, I think, 3 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go. Utah State shot nothing but free throws the rest of the way and did not miss one. The Aztecs could not convert. They let the lead get away. And Utah State was a deserving winner of the game in that sense. But I want to go back to what happened a couple of minutes into the game. And I don't know that Brian Dutcher really is the kind of coach. Let's just put it this way. Thank goodness that Brian Dutcher is not Dan Hurley, who's going to do something idiotic. But I'm pretty sure that just about any coach in America, if their star player, and Magoon Guath certainly qualifies as that for the Aztecs, is lying under the basket, injured, apparently tearing up his knee trying to block a shot, can't get up, and so bad and screaming in pain to the point where the Aztecs trainer ran out on the floor to tend to Magoon Guath, all right? And the Aztecs trainer, Sergio Ibarra, is a veteran kid. He's been around this a long time. Trainers know you don't run right out there unless it's something serious. So Ibarra runs out. Guath is under the basket. There's an official standing right next to Guath. Like Guath is lying at the official's feet. Yet, the play carried on. And the Aztecs ended up getting the loose ball. They ran all the way down to the other end of the floor. Nick Boyd tried a kind of an off-balance layup. He missed it. Utah State grabbed the ball. They ran all the way back down to the floor to where the basket where Magoon Guath is lying under. And then I believe it was Ian Martinez for Utah State went up and dunked the ball at the end of a bit of a fast break and nearly landed on Magoon Guath and the trainer, Sergio Ibarra, who's trying to, protect his player.
Yeah.
All of this is happening while the officials are not blowing the play dead. Now, I can't tell you how bad this is on so many different levels. The very easiest one is the fact that you had a player who was in danger of, it was already hurt, in danger of being even more hurt.
Or the other player.
Or right, Martinez lands on him. He could tear a knee landing on Guath. But they don't know that. But when there's an injury like this and the team who has an injured player has the ball, you immediately blow the whistle. The only time you might hold off the whistle is if a player is down and the other team is going the other way and has an easy basket. You don't want to take that basket away from them. You wait for them to score, then you immediately blow the whistle, and everybody comes out and tends to the injured player. But that was not the case here. You can see Dave Velasquez yelling at the official, but we had the ball. Because the official's obviously saying, well, the play was, yes, and Dave Velasquez, yes, we had the ball.
So stop the game.
You have to stop the game. There isn't even a question. If I didn't stop a game when a player was hurt that severely, I would expect a parent to come out of the stands and have every right to be pretty ticked off that their kid's lying. You know, this is different from high school and college in that sense, but I would not make it as a college ref because I'd be kicked out of the association for not doing my job.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Brian Dutcher, his quote is, I was obviously not happy with that, but what can I do? Well, Dutch, I love you, but what you can do is scream bloody murder to this conference and make a big deal out of this. These officials should be suspended at the very least. This is such bad, just so bad on so many levels. I mean, I've been fired up and ticked off about this for 2 days since it happened.
And they don't really have any reporting after, right? There's no media scrum with the referees.
There's nothing with the referees.
So you can't ask them, why didn't you stop the game?
I mean, they have no excuse. That's the bottom line. You couldn't even ask them the question because they have no excuse. And Mark Ziegler wrote his article that was in the paper today, and he often talks about things that happen in the game the day after.
Yes.
And he wrote about this, and I didn't know he did this, but in his story it says local talk radio host Chris Ello, a longtime high school basketball official in San Diego, unloaded, which I'm doing again right now, but unloaded on the three-man officiating crew over the incident, posting on social media, which is true, says they embarrassed all of us who officiate. And I said, no excuse will do. And I will stand with that statement. As an official, I couldn't believe my eyes that these guys were letting play carry on for 2 full possessions while a kid lies there in obvious tremendous pain and the official's standing next to him.
I want to know.
I think Dutcher really needs to make a deal out of this. It's not going to change anything. I get that. But maybe it will change something in the sense that these officials won't work for a while and other officials will get the word. You can't make a mistake like that.
Do you think Brian Dutcher is more of a, I'm going to be angry behind closed doors than in front of
maybe
him?
he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he called the league office. I hope he did. Himself.
Yeah.
I hope he did. I think you honestly have to say something here. Vern Harris was one of the referees. Now, he was not the one standing over Guath, but Vern Harris is reffed in the Final Four.
It's very strange.
How can you make this kind of a mistake? Now, here's the last piece of the puzzle. and this is in Ziegler's story today. The official who was standing over Gwynn Chris
went to Utah State.
No, his name is Larry Serrato, Scirotto. Never heard of him as a referee before. Apparently, Serrato is a former police chief of the Pittsburgh police force, but he is no longer.
Uh-oh.
He was also police chief in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A longtime city auditor investigated whether he was double dipping on company time to moonlight as a college basketball official.
What is this guy doing being an official anyway?
He was hired in May of 23 as the Pittsburgh police chief and initially said he would stop officiating games. He only worked once last season, but a Pittsburgh TV station noticed that he worked a preseason exhibition in Michigan. Anyway, they wrote about it. They brought it up. They said the whole thing, and he is no longer a police chief in Pittsburgh. So
what
this
in the
guy
world?
is like a walking controversy, basically.
Yeah, well, how could you ever have that guy be an official when he can't even be a police officer?
I don't know.
That's
He
a very
retired,
strange. That's a very strange
according
story.
to Ziegler's story, he retired as police chief on November 1st, and he's done 56 games officiating this year. So I guess now he's kind of a full-time official, but apparently initially he was doing both. And the people were like, we're not paying you to officiate games. You're the police chief of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That is true. And then he probably has to leave the city and go other places?
Yeah, they don't play games in Pittsburgh.
What would happen if he was in
This is crazy.
Ogden, Utah, and there was something serious that happened back in his city?
Well, there was something serious that happened right at his feet the other night, and he didn't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to blow the whistle and protect a player who was obviously hurt.
That's
and
wild.
I just think that's uncalled for by an official.
It's 394 fan 619. That's a long name of
Yes.
numbers. But every year SDSU hoops team gets better as season goes on and officials get worse. It seems like that.
It does. There was a missed travel call at the end of that game that
changed
really,
everything.
It really hurt the Aztecs. The kid should have. He took 5 steps before he took the shot.
I
mean,
see
it was
that.
obvious. And then he doesn't call it, and B.J. Davis ends up fouling out on the play, and that was a big point in the game too. So, all right. I imagine the rest of you probably are like, okay, Chris, enough's enough. I get that because maybe I went off a little too long on this, but I am gonna. Especially my guy, Gwynn Chris, who is a superstar in the making. This was just so bad on so many different levels that I just couldn't help it.
No,
I couldn't help going off about it. And I'm hoping that the word gets, I hope the word gets back to the, this league office has to look into how these officials made this kind of a mistake.
Is the Mountain West,
terrible.
in all honesty, is it low on the pecking order? That's why they have these quality officials?
Well, I told you, though, yes and no. Because Vern Harris
was a Final Four guy.
Final Four ref. All right? I mean, they have guys that have been there. Vern was doing this game. But what you say has some truth to it because since we got to get to the break, but UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington, they all went to the Big Ten and the ACC, Stanford,
the
and Cal.
Pac-12 officials.
All those officials kind of have moved their hub
Services,
of operation to the
yes.
middle and the East Coast.
Okay.
So we've lost a lot of good officials out here on the West because of that.
Okay.
So that's part of the situation.
Well, get that police chief guy out of there.
Ziegler, you made me laugh, man, by putting my tweet in your story.
He's going to be on tomorrow, and you're not going to be in, which is a bummer, but we're going to definitely talk about it.
Yeah. All right. More Gwynn and Chris coming up. Daily Gambit is next.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be.
Right.
And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation,
Right.
that could lean on you a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can, and like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are have really good stuff and are not far away from being middle of the rotation to top half starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse. Is like you bring something to the table on the field every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level, but. Days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's, a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days, so making sure you bring something to the table is, something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute, and a lot of that's just been, better communication with the staff. And I'm really excited this year to be able to sit in more of the coaches' meetings and see how they game plan and how they, come about their approach to certain teams. And I feel like when I come back in 26, I'm going to have a whole plethora of knowledge and things that I hadn't experienced before to add into my game. So.
I just have to say this. I play with a lot of guys, and not all of them are going to take as serious as Joe is taking this part serious, which is getting into those coaches' meetings. Coaches are here a lot earlier than the players,
Are they, man?
especially during spring training. So the fact that he's going to be willing to do that, I think that's awesome, man. That's what separates you from a lot of these other guys out there.
Right.
We're talking to Joe Musgrove here, Padres pitcher, 97.3 The Fan, and I have to ask from the fan perspective, because Tony every day on the show, whenever a team in the National League West signs a new big-name player, all of us fans are kind of like, why? And Tony says it doesn't matter. They still have to go out and play the games. Right. When you see that happen, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different perspective as a player. Our job is, our goal doesn't change regardless of whether we add, and that stuff's, out of our control. So you never want to sit here going into an off season saying, we're going to be fired up if we get this guy and this guy, and not if we don't get this guy. So you look at our team, and a lot of people see all the moves being made and don't see us making moves, and it seems like a mismatch in the division. All these other teams are adding, but you look at our roster, I mean, we spent a lot of money over the last handful of years and committed a lot of guys to be here long term, and the value in having those guys return every year and continue to build that relationship and that growth is every bit as valuable as adding a new free agent. So
Love that.
I think with the progress we made last year, and you guys will never understand how we feel. I'm sure you can see a little bit of it on the field and how we carry ourselves and, the camaraderie and stuff, but you'll never truly understand just how close that group got last year. And although we didn't, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the World Series, we grew a ton as a team. We grew a ton as, a unit. And I'm super excited that we got most of these guys coming back. We got the whole staff coming back, and we can kind of pick up where we left off.
Well, last one for me, because you kind of just hit on it, and I think it's so important. The continuity, right? This is, year maybe 3-4 of this nucleus being together. How much of an impact can that have on a team, having guys who have been in the locker room together for so long?
Yeah, a ton. And, Schulte's big thing is shared experiences. We got guys from all over the league, some guys that are new and have experienced things that most rookies don't, and some guys that have been around 10-plus years that have, been in championship locker rooms and been around the best of the best. So sharing those experiences with each other and helping each other grow along the way, not just, providing, assistance and, coaching, but like sharing experiences and helping guys grow a little bit through, what you've been through is a big thing for us.
Joe Musgrove, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good one we got here, man. Joe, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Pleasure, man.
Quick healings, and enjoy the rest of your day,
sir.
man.
You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I think first you can have that belief when you put the kind of work in that you do, that your body's going to heal right, and just trusting it. You talked about being an extension of the coaching staff. I would guess that's going to be even more so this year with you not being able to actually do the physical part.
Yeah.
Is there something that you've tried to do this offseason to kind of get you into that mode in terms of being that extension? Because the reality is, although your arm might be useless in 25 this year, your mind's not going to be. And there's still a lot of guys, especially the ones who may be vying for your spot in the rotation, that could lean on you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job to help prepare these guys the best I can. And like guys like Waldron, guys like Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, those are guys that are, have really good stuff and are not far away from, being, middle of the rotation to top half, starting pitchers.
Yeah.
So trying to share some things. That's something we talk about all the time in the clubhouse is like, you bring something to the table on the field, every day. That's kind of what brings you here and gets you to this level. But days that you're not playing as a starting pitcher, that's a majority of our days. You pitch once every 5 days, so making sure you bring something to the table is something we always talk about. So even though, like you said, I'm not going to be physically on the field pitching, I got to find a way to contribute, and a lot of that's just been better communication with the staff. And really.
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Ultimately, the skipper's going to be the one that decides whether they should challenge it or not.
Ornelas in the air to deep right field. Chambers going to turn around and watch. This one going to go. Home run, Tirso Ornelas. Strong start to the spring continues here this afternoon.
Ultimate.
Tirso going deep this afternoon at spring training. Eggy, who was part of that intro as well. E-Guy. Also went deep today. 2-run shot for Eggy.
I love
Solo
his name.
shot for Tirso.
His name's great.
Loving both guys. They're both off to good starts. Padres are trailing in the ball game 8-5 to the Cubs down in Peoria. We're back here, Gwynn and Chris, hour number 2. Crisello. Tony Gwynn Jr. obviously just heard him. He's calling the game. He'll be hopefully joining us. He will be joining. It's just a matter of exactly when he can get all settled in after the game. Skraby's over there getting ready for the Skraby Chronicles tonight at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, today.
Pretty excited by that.
I have a different schedule this week, so I'll explain that during the Chronicles.
All right, Cubs just tacked on a couple runs. It's now 10-5 for those keeping track.
Well, this isn't helping my Cactus League championship aspirations.
You had aspirations of the championship last year, and it did not happen.
Yeah, and then they made the playoffs, and they made it all better. But then they win the Cactus League in the year they didn't make the playoffs.
Maybe, yeah, very well. You know who's doing well in the Cactus League right now?
The Reds?
The Cubs.
Oh, the Cubs.
Cubs win today, which it looks like they're going to. They'll be 5-0.
I said Reds because they were crushing the Dodgers earlier.
Dodgers have only won one game. But, of course, that was against the Padres yesterday, which proved, according to that tweet that I read, that the Dodgers are deeper and better. I mean, they won a spring training game.
If we're going to break down that tweet, Chris, they aren't lying.
What? That
the
they're
Dodgers
deeper
have more depth.
Yes, but the point of the tweet was that the game yesterday proved it.
I know.
And my point is the game yesterday proved nothing.
Proved nothing.
As does pretty much anything that happens in spring training. I know we get excited. And, that's what we do. We're fans. We want to see baseball.
Of course.
Ornelas homers today, put him in the starting lineup. He's in.
Yeah.
He makes the team. It's not quite how it works, but, it's something.
I do love the position battles of spring training, especially when everybody's, so far putting their right foot forward. You got Brasso.
They're not right. I got to teach you stuff.
What?
It's not the right foot forward. It's your best foot forward. You put your best foot forward.
I always just
not your right foot
I
forward.
always just thought it was right because most people start walking with their right foot. Is that true?
I have no idea. I don't even know which foot I start walking with. I was just thinking about it.
I'm pretty sure
Should
I
we
use
do a
my
little
right foot.
extra? Should we do
No,
it?
because we're thinking about it.
I know. I have no idea which
I'm
my
gonna
first
watch.
step.
I'm going to watch and see.
I think I start with right. I think I do start with
so
right.
So it is the right foot forward.
No, it isn't. It's the saying is put your best foot forward.
Fine.
That's the saying.
Fine.
That you messed up badly.
But we learned something new. We don't know which leg that we lead with.
Oh, man. We are hilarious.
I think so, apparently.
Coming up on the program, we've got, the Daily Gambit, which is coming up here shortly. We also have, what do we have here? Oh, NCAA basketball update. You know what? Jerry Palm was awesome last week.
He broke
Felt
it all
like I
down.
learned everything.
He broke it all down.
We'll get the latest on the UC San Diego starting to get votes now.
They're in the honorable or the others to get votes mentioned.
They're where they deserve to be. Is it going to be enough to get them in the tournament? I don't know. Jerry Palm seemed to think not.
I know that was a little bit disappointing.
It was a little. I was hoping
How
Jerry...
do you not get into the tournament? Even though you're playing lesser opponents, you are still winning on a consistent
but that matters.
basis.
That matters. They want it. They look at all those tier quad 1, 2, quad 3. That's the biggest thing now.
But like Iona and Fordham, or I don't know, what was that place? The Paladins? What are the Furman?
Yeah, well, they won their league. If you win your league, you get in automatically. Same goes for UCSD.
I know that.
What we're trying to see is if UCSD can get an at-large berth, which I don't think they'll get. Jerry Palm doesn't think they will either. It's not because they don't deserve it. It's because the SEC is going to get 26 teams and the Big Ten is going to get 20, and there's not going to be any spots left for the likes of the Tritons.
I'm disappointed by that.
I'm sorry you are, but welcome to the world. I want to remind everybody one more thing, and then we'll get to the Daily Gambit. At some point during the show, I'm going to say at some point in the next hour, I'm making an executive decision here.
Okay.
Some point during the next hour, so don't go anywhere. You can win a 4-pack of tickets to a Padres Spring Training game at the Peoria Sports Complex. Skraby will personally drive you out to the game. That's not part of it?
That's not sure.
Oh, well, they get 4 tickets to the game anyway. You're also going to be qualified for the grand prize in this particular giveaway, which is 4 tickets to the Padres Guardians game at Petco Park on April the 2nd. That is the second series of the year. Guards coming in.
Yes.
Get your spring training tickets now at PeoriaBaseball.com. I'll tell you when to call in and how to win those Padre tickets. It'll happen within the next hour. You ready for a little Daily Gambit action?
Yes.
Do it.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is, I've said this every day for like 3 years and I forgot how to say it.
What, the Daily Gambit? It's our daily
sports betting segment. Please,
segment.
everybody gamble responsibly.
That's what you need to
wow.
say. Yeah.
That was wild.
It happens.
That was wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still don't know our phone number, right? I mean, every time I got to give the phone number out, I got to look at the sheet. Like, you'd think I'd know the number by now. I've only said it 10,000 times. For some reason, 833-288-0973 just doesn't roll off my tongue. It did that time.
Okay. Yeah, it did. I was going to say, for someone who doesn't remember the number, he remembered it pretty well right there.
That worked.
Tony and I made some bets on Friday, 4 college basketball games, and the first one was Tennessee. And at the time of us making these bets, I did not see an Aztecs line, so that's why we did not bet on them.
Aztecs, they did not. I think it was 6.5. It ended up being for Utah State.
And they lost by 9, 8.
Utah State beat the spread. Yeah, but because they also finished. The Aztecs finished the game with a technical foul on Pharaoh Compton, telling the referees they sucked, and that tacked on 2 more free throws at the end for Utah State.
You know what? I'm okay with that, Mr. Compton.
I was too. I think he was speaking for all of us at the end of that game. Good job, Pharaoh.
All right, the first game we bet on was Texas A&M and Tennessee. Texas A&M home, and they were 2-point favorites. Tony and I took Tennessee, and Tennessee won 77-69. Second game we bet on was Iowa State at Houston. Big game here, number 5 against number 8. Houston, 12.5-point favorites in this one. Tony and I went Iowa State. Houston did win, but they only won by 9. So
12.5?
Yeah,
that
right?
A lot.
That is a lot.
Houston is, that's our hope for the Aztecs to get into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I mean,
the farther they go, the better the Aztecs get.
There's very few people who can say they beat the number 2-3 team in the country. Right,
yeah,
at a neutral site, the Aztecs did
and
that.
So early in the year too.
But it counts so much.
I know. I did. That's another thing I don't get because teams change so much over the year. But
I hope it holds
anyway. Tucky and Alabama. Alabama was the favorite by 9.5 points. I chose Alabama. Tony chose Tucky. Alabama won 96-83. Final one was BYU and Arizona. Arizona minus 7.5. So Tony chose Arizona. I chose BYU. BYU wins this game 96-95. I think I went 4-0. I did.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
The
BYU Arizona game, by the way.
Yeah.
Call at the end of that game, which gave BYU the winning 2 free throws.
Suspect.
Almost as bad as any Aztec call you'll ever see. It was so bad. The defender was standing like this with his arms straight in the air, did not move. The BYU guy couldn't get a shot off, so he just pump fake. Then the BYU guy fell down, threw the ball up in the air, and they gave him two shots, and he won the game.
All right.
It was so bad. So
that is pretty bad.
It was bad. The officiating, come on, people, you can do better.
And that was in a that was
Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do better than that. All right. What do we got for tonight? Well, let's find out. We got Houston back in action. Cougars.
Go Cougars.
On the road, taking on Texas Tech tonight. This is a big matchup in the Big 12. Houston is number 4 in the nation. Texas Tech is number 10 in the nation. Houston by 1.5 here. I'm going to take Houston, even though they're on the road. They don't have to give them very many points.
I will go.
You going guns up, Red Raiders?
No, I'm going to go
You're
with
not.
Houston as well.
We're both going Houston minus 1.5. KU minus 7.5 at Colorado. By the way, thankfully, the ranking people finally took Kansas mercifully out of the rankings after their 29th loss in a row. I mean, they had been ranked until they lost to BYU by like 60 last week. I mean, please. Finally got Kansas.
You said 7 points?
But Kansas is favored on the road by 7.5.
7.5.
Colorado is kind of the bottom of the barrel there in the Big 12.
I guess I will go with KU, even though I don't want to.
Even on the road. I'll take Colorado anyway. Saw Colorado game earlier. Bill Greer, do you remember him? Head coach at USD.
Oh.
First guy to lead them to the NCAA tournament, Bill Greer, is an assistant at Colorado now.
Okay.
On the ladies' side, the new number 1 team in the nation is the Texas Longhorns.
Wow.
Number 1. On the women's side, because Notre Dame lost yesterday. So Texas takes over number 1. They put their ranking on the line tonight at Georgia. Texas favored by 29.5 points.
We just bet on a game with Georgia, and they're pretty bad.
Georgia women,
yeah,
they're not great. I'm going to go Texas. They got to show up big with the new number 1 ranking.
I'm going to go Texas, too.
Texas as well. Detroit Pistons are much improved this year. They're 2-point favorites at home over the Clippers tonight. The Pistons have had one of the better turnarounds in the NBA this year.
Cade Cunningham could be...
Cade Cunningham, looking at some postseason honors. Right now, the Pistons are 6 in the East. They're not even in the play-in tournament. Clippers are number 6 in the West. You're up.
Oh.
Detroit, 2 by 2.
I'm going to go Pistons.
Yeah. They shouldn't be beating the Clippers. I'll take the Clippers. Tyrone Maxey, Philadelphia, 30.5 points. Over-under against doubles.
31.
This is a really good game. Sixers have lost 7 straight. Bulls have lost 6 straight.
Oh, yeah.
When worlds collide.
Yes.
I'm going to say Maxey goes easily over. The Bulls haven't guarded anybody since the Scottie Pippen era.
You keep saying that, and then they end up winning the game.
I know.
I'm going to go under.
You're going to go under for Maxey.
Yep.
Under 30.5. Finally, Nikola Jokic, 49.5 points. Points, rebounds, assists. So he needs 50 in the category of, all of those categories, which he normally gets.
He does.
Honestly.
He does.
Lakers had a nice win over Denver this weekend, by the way.
They did.
In Denver.
123-100, I think.
Yeah, Doncic had his best game.
I'm going to go over.
Jokic is almost always over the 50. All right, we got to check some traffic, Skrabe. People are running around out there. We got to organize that.
Okay.
From the 855, get Ross Traffic Center.
3:20. We welcome you back to Gwynn and Chris L, Matt Skraby, together in our Odyssey Palace studios. Tony Gwynn Jr. will be joining us soon. Padre game against the Cubs. Is it over, Scrape?
It is.
It's over.
It ended apparently 8 minutes ago.
8 minutes ago, so Tony should be on the air like a minute or two from now. He should just race out of there.
If I know that Peoria Sports Complex, they don't know how to funnel traffic.
No,
There's one way out.
It takes like 17 hours to get out, so hopefully Tony will be on the show before it's over. But yeah, he's got to get out of there. He's got to get back to his castle. He's got to cross over the moat.
Yes, he has to feed the alligators on the way in.
Got to take care of the alligators. Got to tip the staff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to
put his order in with the 4 chefs that dote after him.
And then his kids somehow made it to Arizona, and they're doing the palm frond thing where they're just waving at him so that he stays cool.
As he eats frozen grapes dipped in honey. That is Tony's
The things
favorite.
that we have come up with for Tony over the years.
Yeah, it's all true.
It is.
The man lives quite the life.
He does.
He'll join us soon. 3:21's the time. Like I said, this hour we're going to give you a chance to win those Padre tickets. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Play a little Chris vs. the Fans at 4 o'clock. You had some stuff from Eggy Rosario.
Oh, yes.
Did you not?
I did.
He had a 2-run homer today.
He did.
Batting in the leadoff spot, which I thought was interesting.
Yes.
I believe that'll belong to Arise, but you never know. Mike Schilt, could be shifty time to time behind the scenes.
He could be shifty.
He could be shifty. He could do a little something different. Maybe, anyway, Eggy was batting leadoff today. Hit the 2-run homer. Tirso. It says on Baseball Reference Tirso, but I know some people call him Terso. So I'm going to go Tirso because that's what Baseball Reference says. But ultimately, I'll probably listen to whatever Jesse Agler tells me to say.
I should have listened.
He's my official
he is
pronunciation guy.
Even during the year when we have a starting pitcher.
Yes, we have to have Jesse.
We go, hey, Tony, can you ask Jesse who's sitting next to you how to pronounce this guy's name?
And he always knows.
He always knows.
Tirso and Nellis also homered today. The Padres lost. They're now 2-2 in spring action.
Do you want to hear from Eggy?
I love Eggy, man. I don't think I've ever heard from Eggy before.
Danny Sanchez is going to translate, so this clip is both Spanish and English. But here it is. He's talking about hitting right now and what he did in the offseason.
How are you feeling at the plate, and how did I guess going the opposite field must mean you're feeling pretty good. Like, how are you feeling at the plate?
Me siento súper cómodo, gracias a Dios, me siento súper cómodo y creo que tengo buenos compañeros que me motivan también, ¿sabes? Me motivan a dar lo mejor de mí en el terreno y eso es lo que tengo que dar.
Yeah, I feel super comfortable in the box. I'm very lucky to where I have a lot of really good teammates too, that they motivate me, they encourage me. So yeah, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling comfortable.
Eggy, does it mean anything to you that your 3 hits have come against right-handers? You have killed lefties in your career so far, but have you been working on that? What does it mean to you?
Yo aprendí mucho. Yo jugué invernal en Dominicana y aprendí mucho, batí mucho derecho. Creo que eso me ayudó bastante y nada, seguí el plan. Uno nunca sabe lo que puede pasar.
I've learned a lot. I spent a lot of time in the winter in the Dominican League, hitting against right-handers. So I think I've learned a lot, and I'm looking to get better.
What is your view of your competition for a spot, and kind of how do you go about winning that, and how do you focus on that?
En mi cabeza yo no tengo competición, ¿sabes? Yo salgo a dar lo mejor de mí afuera, independientemente de lo que pase. Creo que mi competición soy yo mismo, superar mi límite y tratar de ser mejor pelotero y punto.
Yeah, I think for me the competition is within myself, right? Like in my head, I'm just going out there and trying to give my all, being the best that I can be whenever I hit the field. So I think for me that's the main kind of focus. The main thing that I'm trying to achieve is just be better within myself.
Very good, Eggy. That's a good answer, by the way.
Now you went to be
when you're asked
asked
what you think of your competition in left field, I mean,
you say I'm way better than that.
Right, that's what I would like to say. These guys have no chance against me. But that's probably not the most not going to endear you to your teammates with that answer.
No.
So Eggy getting her done today. By the way, guest appearance in that clip from AJ Cassavell and Kevin Acee, along with
Danny
Padres
Sanchez.
PR guy, Danny Sanchez. Thank you very
Chris,
much.
I have told you this many times, but I haven't said it in a while. I am still trying to learn Spanish so I could go and talk to one of these guys in Spanish this year.
Ooh, that would be tough.
It's going to be tough. I do this thing every day on my phone for 15 minutes, and I'm learning slowly.
Is it helping?
It is. The conversation I'm going to have with these guys, if it's going to happen this year, is going to be like me basically knowing what I'm going to say before I go into it. But that's a goal that I have. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish it, but I'm going to try.
That's a good goal. That's a good goal to have. I noticed in that clip, Eggy obviously can understand English well enough because he answered all the questions right away.
Yeah.
He did not need translation.
Which I'm better at hearing Spanish. I can't.
So he's able to hear
back.
English, but he, doesn't feel comfortable speaking English. I don't blame him.
Me neither.
I mean, you've grown up. He grew up in the Dominican Republic, and you spoke nothing but Spanish, and now you're, people are asking you questions. You don't want to misspeak in your interview, and try to do. So, I think a lot of these guys do a great job. We're how just overly arrogant are we all that we just expect everyone in the world to know English?
I think it's changing.
Do you think it's changing?
I do.
I mean, we go to foreign countries, we expect to talk English, and the people should understand
And
us.
I think we expect that because that's been the standard forever. But now, when we go to countries, I just had a friend who went to Europe, and he said that they were actually treated poorly because they weren't
speaking the language?
the native language wherever they were.
All right.
Which I don't blame. I mean, hey, I'm in your country. I should probably try to learn your language.
Should try to learn a little of it. I got I don't want to say yelled at. But I was called out on the carpet by a couple of police officers in Paris a few years ago.
The carpet?
Well, called out on the carpet. That's kind of like got in trouble.
Oh, okay. I thought there was something in Paris.
No, we were at the Louvre, and Lori and I were trying to find the entrance to the Louvre. It's kind of quite the maze. So I asked one of the police officers out front, I said, hey, do you know where the entrance is? And he said, you could at least try to speak a little French.
Oh, geez.
He wouldn't give me the answer until I gave it my best shot. And I don't even remember what I went with, but
that's where you got to pull out your phone, go to Google Translate, and say, "This is the best I got." I'm sorry, sir.
That's all I can bring you.
I don't mind him saying that, but
no, I didn't mind.
But help me, please.
No, but you're right. We should learn. I mean, why should we expect that everyone's got to know our language?
I tried to learn French back in the
Very
day.
nice.
I still know the one
that other
through
people
5.
do that, but it's not a guaranteed thing. All right, very good, Eggy there. How about you call in now for a chance to win some tickets? But before you call in, I got a question for you.
Don't call in yet.
Don't call in yet, because Skraby will hang up on you. You need to wait until the question is actually said.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is going to give away 4 tickets to a game in Peoria. So, I mean, a lot of you are going to go over to Peoria anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So you might as well grab a few tickets to take with you. And also, you'll get qualified to win a 4-pack of tickets when the Padres season starts against Cleveland, second series of the year on April the 2nd. And if you're wondering, spring training tickets are available at PeoriaBaseball.com, or win some by answering this question. Name the 2 players. Name the 2 Padre players who hit a home run.
I thought you were going with your question.
This is my question.
Oh, okay.
Name the 2 players, the Padre players that hit a home run in Game 1 of the NL Wild Card Series last year against the Atlanta Braves.
All right, I don't remember that.
Name the 2 guys for the Padres who hit a home run in Game 1 of the NL Wild Card Series last year, which turned into a victory over the Atlanta Braves. First person with the correct answer, 833-288-0973. You'll win. Start dialing. Good luck. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Ben and Wood.
right, welcome back, Ernesto. Congrats to you out there. He called in and won the spring training tickets. He gets 4 tickets to go see the Padres in Peoria, and he's also qualified for the grand prize 4-ticket package to see the Padres Guardians game, Petco Park, April the 2nd. That's the second series of the new year. Padres open against the Braves and the Guards.
I mean, what are the chances that Jurickson Profar would open up his season on another team in Petco Park? Very, very small chances.
I don't know. These things always seem to work out.
Yeah, it's
that kind of stuff always seems to work out. Ernesto, by the way, got the answer, which I should give everybody in case you're wondering. The 2 players that homered in the first wild card game, a victory over the Atlanta Braves, Fernando Tatis Jr., in the first inning. I don't know if anybody remembers this game. Luis Arraez singled, and Fernando promptly homered. It was 2-0 before it even got going. It stayed that way. Actually, Higashioka had a sac fly in the second inning. And then it stayed 3-0 all the way to the 8th inning. And it was Higashioka who hit the other home run. So the answer was Fernando Tatis Jr., Kyle Higashioka. Padres win 4-0. Michael King was okay in that game. 7 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, just okay.
He only threw 89 pitches in 7 innings.
There was talk of him going to the distance.
He probably could have, but when you got Jason Adam and Suarez, they locked it down.
They did.
As it were. Padres won game 1. Also, won game 2. Swept the Braves 2 straight. Now, the second game, that was a weird game. Padres scored 5 runs in the second inning and then did nothing the rest of the game. But they hung on for a 5-4 victory. Higashioka also homered in the second game. He's now a Texas Ranger.
I was just thinking that, Chris.
Yeah.
And
the second game, by the way, was the one that Musgrove was injured.
I remember sitting in the booth, and we were all like, uh-oh, that's not good. He's
That's a
leaving
bad
the game.
thing. Yeah.
And then they reported, because they didn't know yet, they were like, oh, it's just arm soreness type of thing, tingle in the arm, and then boom.
I know. And now he won't pitch probably till next season.
No, but I think that Joe is going to
Incredible.
be a huge part of this team this year, just by speaking to him at FanFest.
Oh, there's no question he'll be around. But,
Not
where
gonna
you
help
really
pitching.
want him to be a part of a team is getting guys out. Stuff like that. How about a little traffic check, Skraby, while we load up this segment?
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by ExtremeRoofs.com. Crash has cleared on southbound 5 before 28th Street. Still seeing some residual slowing not only on South 5, but also on the Coronado Bridge heading off the island toward the 5. South 805 past Adams Avenue. Collision over the right shoulder could be partially in that slow lane. Up ahead before the 15, another accident. This one has got the slow lane blocked. Southbound side of the 125 past Lemon Avenue, a collision. Not showing if lanes are blocked. We are seeing a lot of brake light activity toward that. And northbound 67 before Riverford Road, an accident involving a couple vehicles. That's being cleared over to the right shoulder. The rain season has arrived, and if your roof is leaking or you're finding asphalt shingles in the backyard or the side of the house, call family-owned Extreme Roofing, serving San Diego for over 25 years. 619-334-ROOF. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Jerry Palm was on the program. Was it Thursday? Last Thursday.
Yes.
And it was really, really good and really in depth. And I know that everyone knows and more recognized name in bracketology is Joe Lunardi, and that's good. Joe Lunardi's good for ESPN. But viewership and subscribership to ESPN is going down, down, down. I don't know if it is
because of what Rob Manfred said.
That's what he said. So I'm going with Rob Manfred.
Okay.
I don't know if it's true or not, but Rob Manfred tried to explain away the fact that baseball is cutting all ties with ESPN, and then Rob Manfred's, nobody watches it anymore. I mean, like, get out of here.
I did a whole
Everybody
thing.
watches ESPN. The thing with ESPN, you can't argue this. There is not a sports bar television in the country or even in the world that you walk past that doesn't have ESPN on it. I mean, if you're in Cabo and you walk by one of those bars down on the beach, it'd be on ESPN. You go to the gas lamp, everything's on ESPN. You go to a bar in Frankfort, Kentucky, there's going to be ESPN on the TV in the bar.
Chris,
that's just the way it is.
I understand you love ESPN, but ESPN truly is falling to the wayside.
Okay. All right.
Not in the form of live sports.
It's
they
not
are
that
very good at live sports.
It's not that I love ESPN or dislove ESPN. I'm saying that it's in my face. It's there every time. How do you? I don't know how people can say, "Oh, I don't want to be dealing with ESPN because they're going away." They aren't going anywhere.
I did a whole breakdown on Friday, and the short story of it is that Rob Manfred must have a way bigger deal out there than what ESPN was going to pay them, because they're paying $550 million for each season to broadcast Sunday Night Baseball and a playoff series and the Little League. But so ESPN came back to MLB and said, "Hey, you sold Apple the rights on Fridays for $85 million. And you sold Roku the rights for $10 million. Why are we paying $550 million? Can we get a discount?" And MLB said no, and then they got out of the contract. But what the experts in the industry are saying is that Rob Manfred is committing business malpractice if he's leaving $550 million on the table without something else out there.
Well, along with the $550 million, which I'm sure Dick Monfort can use to pocket and keep and not pay any players.
That's what I want. What are the owners thinking?
Along with that, I think they're losing a lot of eyeballs. But you're right. Maybe ESPN's going away and streaming's taking over. But ESPN also streams.
That's what I was about to say. This is what I don't get about the deals, because ESPN is going to start going all streaming. That's their whole plan over the next whatever amount of years, is to go to a digital media service.
Right.
But it's very interesting in the fact that Rob Manfred better have something better worked out. He better have $1.5 billion over 3 years worked out, because that's what he's going to lose.
Maybe he doesn't care. He's no longer going to be the commissioner here in a little while.
This is his legacy. He will be remembered by what happens in the last final years.
Leaving ESPN, high and dry on the side of the road.
That and the work stoppage that may be upcoming.
You're right about that. Here's the thing with ESPN. You're right. I think a lot of people are finally getting more anti-ESPN. To me, they're like the old shoe. I'm comfortable with them. I go to ESPN. But I think a lot of people are saying, you know what? I'm tired of the arrogance of ESPN, and I'm going elsewhere. And I'm going to CBS Sports, or I'm going to Yahoo Sports, or I'm going to, whatever else is out there.
Jacob has a great point. ESPN is dying because of streams on YouTube like this one. People will come here instead of going to ESPN because ESPN's not talking about what they want to talk about.
Thank you, Jacob. Anyway, if you want bracketology, I suggest you go to, Jerry Palm, because he's more accurate and has been over the last several years. Lenardi's more popular. We hear about it more. Jerry Palm's better. And so I'm going with him. And after they lost the other night at Utah State, the Aztecs stayed as a number 10 seed in Jerry Palm's bracketology. So that loss did not hurt them at all. They're a 10, which means they're not in the play-in round of games, which would be an 11 seed, right? They're ahead of those teams. So they're not last four in. They're in a little better shape than that. However, the Aztecs probably can't really afford to lose another game. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
They've got 4 games left. I know their first place, New Mexico, is tomorrow night. And they're not going to have Guath no matter what. Guath is not playing. But if they lose at home to New Mexico, I think that's going to hurt. And I know if they lose any of the other 3 games, Wyoming, UNLV, or Nevada, any of those 3 will knock them completely out of an at-large berth. And you might say, well, that's not fair because they just lost one of their best players, Magoon Guath. Yeah, you know that. I know that. We all know that. A lot of people aren't going to know that. And I understand they're supposed to factor stuff like that in. But normally the way they factor that in is, well, how good is the team without Magoon Guath? We don't want to put him in they're shouldn't be a tournament. They're not a tournament team without him. So, if you're wondering about the knee injury too, they still, as far as I know, I've been looking as much as I can on between breaks. If somebody sees something before me, let me know.
You could text your guy.
but I haven't seen a result on the knee MRI.
That's not good.
From a Gwynn yet.
That's not good.
Why is that not good? Maybe,
no news is bad news.
Well, maybe
I think
not.
they say no news is good news, actually.
That's normally what they say, but then you don't know any sayings. You think that you put your right foot forward and you're supposed to put your best foot forward. So you don't know this stuff. Anyway, now the other team that, we want to focus on is UC San Diego. And you brought it up earlier. Should they make the tournament if they don't win the conference? And the bottom line is they're not going to. They're a 12 seed right now with Jerry Palm. And if you want to put Lenardi in, they're 11. But that's because they're an automatic qualifier. That means they're going to win their conference. If they don't win their conference, they probably, other than the win over Utah State, don't have enough to get them in as an at-large. That's what Jerry Palm said.
I know.
I can't argue it because Jerry Palm knows all this stuff like crazy.
I understand, and
maybe he's wrong. He could be wrong, but I trust him on this.
But when I'm looking at the Big West Conference, this is where college basketball could go wrong because clearly, there's two teams that are really good in this conference: UC Irvine, UC San Diego. I guess you could say Cal State Northridge is also a good team because they've won 20 games. If UCSD does not win the tournament and they don't make the NCAA tournament, this is why it's stupid, because you're going to put a team that maybe just got hot at the right time in the tournament instead of the better team. I don't understand how you could win 24 plus games and not make the tournament when, let's say, Cal Poly, who's 11-17, can win the Big West tournament and get a berth into the
that's okay.
NCAA tournament.
First of all, that's how it's always worked.
I don't like it.
So what do you think that they shouldn't have the conference tournaments then anymore?
I'm not qualified to.
You're not.
I'm not qualified to make that decision. Chris.
Yeah, well, just don't.
But it's like the first four. I won't get that either because those teams are good enough to make it because they're 11 seeds or whatever, but they're not good enough to make it over a team that's a 16 seed.
One of the great things about NCAA basketball that will never change, and they will never allow it to change, is the fact that every Cinderella has a chance. And even though they don't all make the NCAA tournament, there's some people who say that the NCAA tournament should just include every team. And I hope that never happens. But in a lot of ways, it already does include every team because every conference has a conference tournament. So you could finish, you're right, you could finish 0-26. And you win the conference tournament, you're into the NCAA tournament. That goes for every team in every conference. I think that's part of the great allure of the sport, though, and that's why I don't think the conference tournaments will ever go away. But for UCSD, it's not that they're not a good. We know they're a good team. They took the Aztecs to the wire. They won at Utah State. We saw how tough that was. The Aztecs couldn't do it the other night.
That's true.
It's really difficult to win at Utah State. UCSD snapped a long win streak there for Utah State with that win. But the problem for UCSD, as Jerry Palm sees it, and I'm being Jerry Palm here, they beat Idaho. They beat Occidental. They beat Laverne. They beat Toledo. They beat LaSalle. They beat, Sacramento State. These are just not wins that are going to gain you enough, favor with the committee. The other thing is they lost to Seattle University, which is, one of the worst teams in basketball. You can't do that.
No,
I'm not.
You're right.
I'm not blaming these guys. UC San Diego, you definitely should be in, and it's a great story. But the computer and the guys that's sitting there in that room, they don't care about your story. They care about quad 1 wins, quad 3-4 losses. And UCSD has the quad 1 win at Utah State, and they have quad 3-4 losses to Seattle and to UC Riverside. This is Jerry Palm speaking, not me.
I'm hearing Chris Ellis speaking.
I know. Well, I'm passing along
you're
Jerry's
channeling
message.
Jerry.
Look, UCSD played Hawaii Saturday night. Did you see the score of the game?
Yeah, it was 83-44 or something.
They won by 40.
Yeah.
They're crushing everybody right now.
Yes, they are.
It's phenomenal. They've won 9 games in a row right now, every single one of them by double digits. And I mean, usually way more than double digits, like by 20, by 30.
They're playing great.
They beat UC Irvine, the second best team in the league, by 18 on the road. They look completely dominating. Now, the one good thing for UCSD is they'll finish first or second in the regular season. They get 2 byes in their conference tournament. They get all the way bye to the semifinals.
Okay, that helps.
So that helps. They're only going to have to win 2 games to get the automatic berth.
Okay.
So that's one thing in their favor. So I'm hoping for them. Now, what about USD's NCAA chances? I'm joking.
That's not going to happen this year, Chris.
I can't. I don't follow their program closely enough, and I understand now. You got kids coming and going, and you got this, that, and the other, and the transfer portal and the NIL money. So I get all of that, but I kind of thought Steve Lavin would have these guys a little better than this. And again, I maybe they had some big injuries that I don't know about, so I apologize ahead of time because I haven't followed the season that close. After all, they're currently in a 15-game losing streak and all that goes with that. But I just 4-25 is not what I expected. Steve Lavin, pretty legit coach in my mind.
It definitely is an eye-opener. 4
legit
games
coach.
is not a lot.
So, I'm surprised that USD hasn't been able to do a little better, quite a bit better than this. They have 2 games left to try to get a win before their conference tournament. Although, USD is still alive for the national championship in basketball.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
They're still alive.
USD just goes like the Final Four.
They'd be the 16 seed if they won their conference tournament and then have to beat everybody.
Yeah, that's a tough season right there.
We saw, who was the 16 seeds?
Baltimore County?
Maryland, Baltimore County, and then
was it
Fairleigh Dickinson?
Oh,
no,
Fairleigh Dickinson
beat Purdue.
I remember
beat
Fairleigh
Zach
Dickinson.
Edey.
Yeah, that's right.
And Purdue.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
So you never can tell.
You never can.
USD, Toreros, hang in there, guys.
All I know, Chris, is it is getting time for March Madness.
Yeah,
we are almost
it's gonna be
there.
great.
And you know what? I've already started the preparation for our March Madness bracket that we're going to put together. And this time, I'm going to make sure that people put their contact information so we don't have.
Oh, we did a bracket last year. I'm not a fan of the bracket because it's just.
It's fun.
I like it, but I'm really not good at it. That's why I don't like it.
No one's good at it. That's the best part.
We talked about the Arizona game the other night. They got a bad call, I thought, against Arizona. No, that was the Arizona game. The Arizona game, the guy was straight up, and the BYU guy pump faked and then fell down, and then they called a foul, and he made the 2 free throws and won the game. Nevertheless, horrible behavior by the Arizona fans as BYU was going off the floor. Can't even repeat what they were chanting.
Yeah.
It was that bad. A little credit to the Arizona people who came out today and said, this is embarrassing. This is horrible. We apologize. I don't know what else they can do. It says the chant is not reflective of who we are. Yeah, it kind of was, unfortunately.
It is your fans.
You were fan. It was your fans who were chanting it. And, I'm not a BYU fan, but this was completely out of line by the U of A people.
I don't know.
And fans, these calls are made. I know your team lost. It's tough. It's brutal. You don't need to be, chanting the thing. Again, I'm not even going to repeat what they were saying. It was so bad. I don't even think I can give you a hint. You're just going to have to read it yourself.
Yeah, just go look it up.
But, I wish we could keep in – I know we can't. I wish we could keep in mind it's a game. The thing that I got mad about with the Guath, and the thing the other night was nothing to do with the outcome of the game, which I didn't like. I was obviously upset. But that was the fact that you had a star player who could have been hurt much, much worse while you were neglected and not blowing your whistle. That's different than, just understanding it's a game. The Arizona fans felt like they got, the bad call. They started screaming afterwards. It was it wasn't proper.
I don't know why we've just lost our way of handling ourselves in public.
We've also lost our way in terms of taking this way too seriously. I'm going to give you an example. We go to break. Utah, not BYU, but Utah.
Okay.
Not Utah State, but Utah, regular Utah.
The Utes.
They fired their men's basketball coach today.
Yes, I saw that.
Craig Smith. Now, He's 15-12. He's 7-9 in the conference. He's beaten Kansas. He's beaten BYU. What are we doing here? I mean, he's 65-62. I understand he's not 100-0. I get that. He hasn't gone to 4 Final Fours.
It's got to be internal strife.
But it's not like this guy's doing a bad job. I mean, it's a tough conference. There's the Big 12, the whole thing. They're right in the middle of the pack. Why does that get you fired? I mean, these programs are just absurd. Utah's not the only one. Other coaches, places get fired for, doing even better than that.
Yeah.
Let's play Chris vs. the
with
Fans next. Gwynn and Chris kicking back off here, 4 o'clock hour. Hour number 3 of our Monday get-together. Tony Gwynn Jr. was on the microphone this afternoon with Jesse Agler in Peoria. Cubs took out the Padres 10-5. Padres are now 2-2. Spring training action. Slipping 2.5 games behind the Cubs in the race for the Cactus League title.
Doesn't make me happy.
Cubs are 5-0 in spring. They're runaway Cubs.
Good for them.
Kind of the runaway Cubs.
You know what?
Break up the Cubs.
They can go start their season halfway across the world and see how long it takes for them to get back to normal.
Oh, good point. Yeah, they're 5-0, but they're going to be leaving the Cactus League soon.
Are they?
That's right.
Are they going to be even here for the Cactus League championship ceremony?
I don't think they're going to be. I don't think the Cubs are going to be eligible for the Cacti League title.
I don't know what else you could do.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. Anyway, Cubs won 10-5. Home runs, Padres, Eggy Rosario, 2-run shot, Tirso Ornelas, both connecting for their first home runs of the spring.
Oh, it feels good.
Yeah, I bet they felt good about it. JB Wendelken, the reliever, coughed up 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. That's your update on the Padres today.
I know we have to get to Chris versus fans, but if you're JB Wendelken, how would you, in our profession, what kind of day would that be like? Like, how bad do you feel after you have an outing where you're trying for a job? And
I feel bad for you, but
5.
It's not a great day, but I mean, you got to hope you get another shot.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know.
It would be. I guess it would be like me the first time I was on the radio, and I
think
just boxed it up. And
it would be similar to, it's raining real hard out there on the Intercom network. I think it'd be similar to that. I think that'd be about the same. That'd be a good correlation there.
Wow, it is raining really hard. This is being cool here on the Entercom Empire, so if you're sitting out there.
Yeah, that's
more I listen to it,
That's
the
2/3
worse it
of an inning,
gets.
5 runs right there.
That's the worst it gets every time.
I know. But he'll get some more chances. Mike Schilt smartly said the other day that he's, not going to put a lot of stock in the first several games for pitchers. You got to give these guys a shot, to get into the groove. And he's not going to eliminate Wendelken because of today. One more of those, and that could be the
fall
death
out of favor.
knell. Yeah. All right, Chris versus the fans, 833-288-0973. We got trivia, and if you win the trivia, prizes could be headed your way. Motley Crue just announced a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. And you'll be qualified to win for a chance to win the trip to Vegas to see the show live. You get 2 tickets plus a hotel stay at Park MGM. Get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live. It's at Park MGM now at Ticketmaster.com. And I don't want to knock Tommy Lee and company, but I think this is a better part of the prize. Because tomorrow night at Viejas is a huge Aztec basketball game. They're playing host in New Mexico, first place New Mexico. Talked about it. Aztecs have to find a way to win here. And they're going to have to do it without Magoon Guath, but you fans are going to have to carry them to a win tomorrow night because they got to have it.
Yes.
For the NCAA tournament, at large thing. And you out there, if you win Chris versus fans today, 2 tickets to the game tomorrow night, Aztecs, New Mexico. Get tickets now at goaztecs.com. I always wonder how true that is because these games are all sold out, are they
I've
not?
already done one ticket search today. Let's do
I know.
another one.
I know. You were looking for
SDFC
tickets after their thrilling win last night.
Which, by the way, for the people that were calling shenanigans on us, I went to the SDFC website and I clicked on the buy tickets
that's where
on their
went.
website.
You're right. That's where you went. You might be able to find tickets cheaper than what we were telling you they cost. I'm sure you can. This way, that way, the other way. But based on going to the website and going to, purchase tickets, what we told you earlier was accurate.
All right, I'm looking real quick.
Can you get Aztec tickets tomorrow night? Could you buy a ticket to the Aztec New Mexico
Let's start
game?
Chris versus the fans, and I'll tell you on the other side while it's loading.
Good.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
So you can, Chris, buy tickets for tomorrow night. Most of them are in the upper regions of Viejas Arena, but they're affordable. I mean, $26.
All right, so you could get in, but it would be tough because these games are almost pretty much sell out every night.
The best
Aztec basketball.
The highest resale ticket that I just sorted was $238.
Aztecs tomorrow?
Yes.
It's a great game.
Well, it's center court, halfway up the stands, so it's like the perfect spot.
Yeah.
So there you go. There are tickets, but there's very few tickets left. So if you want one, you should go now, or you should try.
Why don't you win
this.
Chris versus the Fans right now? Then you get 2 tickets right just like that. You can go say hi to Uncle Teddy and bother him before the game. He loves that. Loves when people come up unannounced and say hello.
I don't think he does. Does he?
I don't know.
I don't think he does.
I actually don't think you could get down on the floor and
I was
actually
gonna
say hello to him.
All of a sudden, he's going to have like people tapping him on the
right.
shoulder.
Chris said to say hi. Chris said to come by and say hi.
All right, the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it. You'll get that first question for free today. So let's get started with Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, Jason. Good luck to you, man.
Ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right. What team did SDFC beat last night to open their franchise up?
LA Galaxy.
LA Galaxy is correct. Nice
Whooped
job.
them, Scrabe. Whooped them, I tell you. 2-0 was not indicative. They could have had 2 or 3 more easily.
Hopefully, you watch this game, Jason. What is the name of the SDFC player who scored both of the goals yesterday?
The name of the player
who scored both goals yesterday?
Dreyer.
He got it.
That is
Dreyer
correct.
is right.
Anders Dreyer scored
You know
both
how I remember
goals.
that?
No.
The
Dreyer's ice cream? Oh,
yeah,
that's-
Dreyer's ice cream. But he's not Dreyer's. He's Dreyer.
Yeah.
And he had a third. He could have had the hat trick.
And
I mean,
what
I'm
happened?
saying the guy made a great save on him. I'm just saying the SDFC kicked their butts. It's great.
You know how much that S at the end of his name is worth? Billions. Dreyer
to Dryers.
Dreyer.
He was the hero last night.
Third and final question for you, Jason.
Good job by you, Jason. You're on top of your soccer stuff right here. You going soccer again on him?
No. Have you tell me if I asked this question, Chris. There are 3 active managers with over 20 years of managerial experience each. Name all 3.
All 3?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
There are 3 active managers with over 20 years managerial experience. Name
We're talking
the
the
3.
big leagues.
Yes,
evidently,
Major League
right?
Baseball.
Major League Baseball managers with over 20 years experience.
Dusty Baker.
Okay.
Baker.
Okay. We're going to go Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
And let's go Mike Scioscia.
Okay.
Mike
all right,
Scioscia.
all
He's
right.
kind of fading there on the.
Stay there though.
Yeah, I don't think Dusty Baker's right because I don't think he's a manager right now. I could be wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. All right, 2 of them I think I have, but this is tough. I think Bochy's one, and I think Terry Francona's the other.
I don't want no balls and strike system in my game, Chris.
What do I got to have? 20 years?
20 years?
Oh, God, it's so tough to remember everybody that's managing right now. I don't think I can do it, Scrape. I got to get all 3.
You got to get all 3.
Yeah. You're tough.
Should I buzz you?
5, Oh, come on.
4, 3, 2.
Can't think of it.
1.
Winner for you, Jason.
Wow, Jason, you're going to kick yourself, Chris.
I'm sure I will.
Because that person managed here in San Diego recently.
Who is
Bob
it?
Melvin.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't have come up with that.
Stay there, Jason.
Bob
Good
Melvin,
job.
good one, but I would not for some reason I didn't even think of Bob Melvin.
Well, because he was lost with the A's for about 15 of those years.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
Great question,
Thank you.
and it's a big win for you, Jason. Stay on the line. You're qualified for a chance to go see Motley Crue. You also will go to the Aztec basketball game tomorrow night. Aztecs against the Lobos. Congrats. Now, I got 2. I think I got to get some credit for 2, but
no, that's pretty good.
It was hard to do. I don't know why I couldn't. Bob Melvin didn't even come to mind.
Maybe that's because he's so far out of mind.
Where is he? Oh, he's the Giants now, yeah.
I saw something pretty funny, though, just now on the TV. Justin Verlander made his debut today with the Giants, and he ended up, I guess Matt Chapman wheeled him out on the field in a wheelchair.
Oh, goodness. For the first inning?
Yeah, I don't know that he did it to the mound, but there was a wheelchair involved with Justin Verlander today.
Spring training should be
he's
fun.
old. He's old.
Spring training should be fun.
He's 42.
Yeah, we should all be so old.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
I mean, Justin Verlander is just 2 years off of me, and
42 is
I don't
not.
know who's done more in their life, me or Justin Verlander.
42.
Okay?
It's close. It's close. All right. Good job by you, Jason. When we come back, is the end in sight for one of NFL football's most controversial plays?
Oh, gosh.
Traffic next, then that.
From the 855, get Ross.
4:18 is the time. Chris Ella. Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yes, sir.
There he is. After a day on the mic down in Peoria. Tony has returned home to the we're at the Odyssey Palace. He's at the Gwynn Castle in Peoria. And we're happy to have him join us here. Padres fell today to the Cubs 10-5, but my guy, E-Guy, otherwise known correctly as Eggy Rosario, hit a home run today, as did Tirso Ornelas, Tony. So, you know, you've got this big fight going on for left field, and a lot of guys seem like they want to get in on it.
Yeah, no, a lot of guys performing well early in camp and taking advantage of the opportunities that have been presented to them. And I think, you know, Toddy having to miss all of camp, and not miss all of camp, but not having been able to play in camp, has opened up opportunity for the Padres not to look at a right fielder, obviously, but to get these guys who are battling for some of these other positions opportunity to play a different spot and show their versatility. And so the guys are taking advantage of it. Eggy looked good again today. That was off of a righty. Remember, all his hits, I think, came off of lefties last year. All his extra base hits came off of lefties last year. And so to get on a righty and go Oppo Taco, very nice, very nice.
Very good.
There's a lot of good lot of players, as you said, went their name in the hat.
By the way, the other guy that's opening an eye or two. It's only 4 games, but Oscar Gonzalez. And I don't know that people remember who this guy was. I certainly didn't even know the Padres had him until I saw him in the lineup the other day. He was a starting right fielder for the Guardians when they went to the playoffs 2 years ago. He was the guy. And I don't know if anybody remembers this, but the first playoff game that year for the Guardians was against, I believe, Tampa Bay, and I think it was scoreless into the 15th inning.
I do remember
Oscar
this.
Gonzalez hit the walk-off home run to win that game.
That is crazy. I remember
that was a couple years ago. Last year he did not do a whole lot, but you know, Tony, 11 home runs and 300 plus at bats, 296 average. I mean, the guy had something there a couple years ago, and maybe the Padres can find it back.
It's funny you mentioned Oscar. I talked to Victor Rodriguez about him 2 days ago, and he had him when he was in Cleveland. And I think he is a guy to keep an eye on because he's still young. You can see the size and the kind of the athleticism that comes along with it. And talking to Victor about it, he was saying that year he was great, and I think the next year he kind of lost some confidence and, has really been trying to find his way since. And, what better person to help you get back there than one of the coaches that was there with you when you had it going well. And so he's certainly a guy you got to keep an eye on. You're right. There's not been a lot of conversation about him, but he has played extremely well, and he's played in every game to this point. He hasn't missed one, and he's done very well. And so certainly keep an eye out on this guy because he's got a lot of ability, and it's just a matter of him putting it together and showing some consistency.
When Oscar Gonzalez becomes a big star for the Padres, I would like for everybody to remember I was the one who brought it up on the first day of spring training.
Of course you were. I want to correct one thing. I said that it was 2 years ago that he hit the home run. It was actually 2022 that he hit the home run. 2023, he slumped, and then 2024, he was not in the big leagues last year. Right. So I wanted to clear that up for those who correct
fact checkers out there.
Oh yeah, and we lead the league in them, as Skraby can tell you.
Yeah,
so if we say anything that's even remotely wrong, I mean, people will be on the chat in 2 seconds. So
yeah.
All right, now real quick, Tony, we'll get back to more Padres stuff, but I touched on this before you jumped on here. The first touchdown in the Super Bowl this year was scored on the infamous Philadelphia Eagles tush push. And apparently, according to Troy Vincent, NFL's Executive Vice President of Football Operations, former Miami Dolphin All-Pro corner, by the way. Troy Vincent.
I needed to know that.
Well, you do now. He said today that an NFL team has submitted a rule proposal to ban the tush push. Now, Vincent would not identify the team, but our sources, led by Tony Gwynn Jr., say that the name of the team may perhaps leak out earlier today.
I can't remember where I saw it, but I 100% saw it.
Okay.
And it said Green Bay. Now, I would later see it as unidentified.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Maybe ESPN or whoever reported it had their source wrong and they had to take it down, or they had it right. And
somebody silenced them.
Right, 1 to 2.
Well, I hope
nonetheless,
I hope it was the Packers. I don't know. We've talked about this before, and as much as it does seem to be almost an unfair play, it really isn't, because no other team in the NFL can consistently do it. Until everybody can do it, I don't think you can penalize the Eagles for being good at something.
Yeah, I wonder, will it become a safety thing? I wonder if that is how they ultimately take this out.
Chris Jones got hurt.
I was just telling Skraby. I was just on the other side of this with Skraby during the break.
Yeah.
But as I started sitting there, I remember seeing Chris Jones over there getting his neck work on. Looked like he was in a lot of pain, and I remembered he was pretty much disappeared in that game. And you wonder if you hear when these guys talk about it. And offensive linemen love to run block. That's like their favorite thing to do. And they all despise this particular play because it's so tough on their bodies. And I wonder if that is the way they ultimately get it out. Because it's not a disadvantage, because there's only, like you said, there's only one team that can consistently do it. But when you start seeing not only, the guys who are running the play, but the opposing team getting hurt,
right,
you wonder if that is how they ultimately get it up out of there.
All right, so the Chiefs have one bad thing happen to them, and they're going to change the rule.
But the thing is, it wasn't.
You knew Skraby was coming in with that one.
It wasn't just the Chiefs. You started seeing it more and more over the course of the season that dudes were getting hurt, whether it was Philly or Buffalo or whoever was trying it, and whoever's on the defensive side. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that I could see that being a way that
would be a way around it.
Well, what if
to get it out?
What if they said that on the defensive side, you can't try to put your body down like they do, which is getting them hurt, which is basically just putting a speed bump in the middle of the road, and then everybody is just rolling over you. Like what? I think that's how Chris Jones got hurt.
I think they want to avoid having to change rules just to keep the rule. But listen, whoever put it in, their case may not be good enough, and they may continue to do it. I don't know. I'm just saying I could see a scenario in which the NFL says we deem this too dangerous. Basically,
that's how they'll get out of it. I think you're right, Tony. Could you I'm going to give Skraby a quick shot at this question. Could you imagine the Dolphins calling that play with Tua one time? How many games would he miss from there?
Well, he would have to be wearing bubble wrap, so they would call timeout, bubble wrap him up, and then put him in.
You know what? Just based on how they play, I could see a scenario in which every single person on the offensive side gets hurt on that one play. Like the whole offensive line,
for the
Tua,
Dolphins,
everybody.
Well, because they're the softest team in football. They'd call the tush push, and then McDaniels and the trainer would have to run out, and the field would be littered with their players,
littered with Dolphin bodies.
Somehow Tyreek Hill got hurt in the whole thing.
He would get hurt. Nobody would survive that.
Who do you think would Tua be the worst tush push candidate around the league? I mean, Brock Purdy's not very great either. He's small.
No, but Tua's got to be the most breakable quarterback in the league, isn't he?
He's up there.
It's
Aaron Rodgers would be pretty hard.
It's just his head, though. He wouldn't have to worry about getting his head banged. He's just kind of just falling forward.
That's true.
With a whole lot of pressure.
With a whole lot of pressure on that head.
And there's two guys behind you that are shoving you in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a comfortable position for the quarterback in any stretch of the imagination.
Well, Jalen Hurts seems to just shrug it right off. He goes into the end zone, throws the ball to the ref, and runs to the sideline. He seems fine every time he does it.
Jalen Hurts is a grown man. He's a big dude.
He squats 700 pounds, Chris.
He proves it on the tush push. All right, so it's either the Packers, but it's definitely somebody that is trying to get rid of the tush push. We'll see what happens there. We have a Big Five. There's even crazier stories than that one. When we come back from Skraby, more Gwynn and Chris on the flip side of this.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that.
No,
Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very...
To kick off the week. It's going to be an interesting week of Gwynn and Chris. My travel schedule in the next 2 days is awful.
Oh, you think?
It's as bad as it could be. So Sam Levitt's going to be checking in with you the next couple of days.
Sammy
Lev coming through big time for us. Appreciate that. Tony, of course, in and out of the broadcast booth with the Padres. A 2-2 start for the Friars after losing today to the Cubs. One other baseball note before I get to the Big Five. Former Padre Sean Manaea has been shut down for a few weeks. Right oblique strain. Will likely start the season on the IL, according to manager Carlos Mendoza. Of course, Manaea had a great season last year with the Mets. It is really funny how these things work.
Career year? Big contract?
Listen to you. Always thinking there's a conspiracy when maybe it just happened this way. When he pitched for the Padres, he did not have great success. Last year, he went to the Mets, and he was on it, man. 12-6, 3.47. He's projected as the number 2 starter.
So
but
Skraby,
he's not going to be now because he's hurt.
Skraby, let me get this straight. So you think that he was like, body, don't get hurt. All right, we're going to get through this year, and we're gonna make a bunch of money, right? And his body listened, and it was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. And then he was like, body, do what you want to do now. And it just
I made my money.
Yeah.
Got my bag.
Well, the other thing is when he was a Padre, Manaea told his body not to try because it didn't really matter because it wasn't a contract year. So his body just said, forget it.
He did admit that he didn't try as hard as he should have here in San Diego.
No, he did
I'm
not.
going to go get it. I'm going to go
Please
get it.
Please go get that. Please go get it.
Okay. He was 8-9 for the Padres, 4.96.
I didn't try as hard as I should have.
Well, he wasn't a contract year. It didn't
I
matter.
I don't know if that was an actual quote, but
I remember we interviewed him in spring training that year, 2022. I remember him telling me he wasn't going to really give it much of an effort.
Can someone please send me this because I can't find it fast enough?
Please send this.
Because this is the often the one response I get back about Sean Manaea as well. He didn't care about baseball when he was here.
Please.
Oh yeah, because that's what he said though. That's what you're saying. He said he said that, you know what? I'm not going to try. I didn't try that hard when I was there. I should have tried harder.
You know, I probably shouldn't have phrased it the way I did. So that is on me. That is on me.
A nutcase.
Yeah.
You ready for more nutty stuff, Chris?
Let's see what it has. Big Five is coming up after traffic here.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Springs. South 805 misbehaving this afternoon. Got this crash right before the 15 tow truck trying to move that out of the slow lane. Then another crash up ahead right before Palm Avenue. This one is in the HOV lane. Also an accident on the northbound 125 right at the King Freeway. It's over to the right shoulder. Up ahead, another crash right at the eastbound 8 connector ramp. And traveling on the eastbound 52 Mast Boulevard off-ramp, got a stalled car blocking the right lane of that ramp. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. And Kelly Danik with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
I have a quote from Shamanaya.
All right.
Let me read it. This is from NBC Sports Bay Area.
Okay.
When he was introduced by the Giants, he had admitted he has at times been lazy and lackadaisical between starts. He said, quote, "As much as it sucks to have the year I had last year, the San Diego year, I think going forward it was probably the best thing for me as far as lighting a fire under my butt and really getting my routines down, and I realized that I can't just stay in this game if I'm going to be lazy. It's kind of disrespectful to the people that have come before me, that are coming after me. Really made me realize that I have to put the work in. I have to do the little things that most people don't think about. But if I want to be up here and be the person I know I can be, it's those little things. Last year definitely made me realize all those things."
That is not the same as not trying hard.
I will agree with you there.
Okay, there you go.
Not trying hard and being lazy is different, but there were similar sentiments behind them.
First of all, yeah, maybe so. I mean, lazy is it's not the same lazy you're thinking of. I can guarantee you.
Let's put it this way: when you're talking about lazy, I think Skraby
okay,
kinda
don't
knows
even
where
put
this
me
is
in.
coming
Don't
from.
even. I am not lazy. I went and played tennis yesterday, Chris.
Wow, good for you. Picked
Or I
up the
chased the
racket,
tennis
huh?
ball. I chased
the ball
tennis,
around.
You now, Chris's wife doesn't believe I even chase the ball around.
We don't.
It's getting ridiculous how you guys don't give me any credit for my athletic feats. All right. I think it's
You
time.
almost got yourself
we
through
digress.
you almost got yourself through the whole women's basketball season without coming out and trying 3-pointers, by the way.
Well, I want to come down there. I just don't know when to go.
Number 5.
Dennis Lynn wrote in The Athletic over the weekend about Dylan Cease and his new pitches that he is working on, and one of them is a, quote, arm speed changeup and then a two-seam fastball. Here he is with us at FanFest talking about his new pitch. I had to cut this down a little bit, but here's what he told us about those new pitches.
I'm working on an upper half thing, a glove thing. I don't know. It's kind of new territory for me.
Yeah, so you're kind of figuring that out as you go.
Yeah, but it really gets to the point where it feels good, and then from there it's just ramping up the intensity. And because anytime you do something at a higher power, higher speed,
yeah,
it's like a new feeling altogether. So I can sit and train it one way, but until I'm throwing 98 with it.
Doing it in game speed, yeah.
So there you go. That was just a part of his answer, but he said he was working on things and he couldn't, translate it to the big leagues just yet. All right, Tony, you're up first. How much would that change Dylan Cease if he can develop a big league changeup?
Assuming it's this arm speed change-up thing is the same thing, yes. I think that is a big deal.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the quote-unquote arm speed changeup is.
I went to the article just to make sure I understood arm speed. What'd you put in there?
Arm speed changeup.
Arm speed changeup
is how they list it in the article, which I guess would be...
Yeah. Yes. Spiriting with two potential additional... Yeah, it's arm speed. It's a changeup. The idea is that you have good arm speed on it, right? So you throw it like it looks like your fastball, and then it just flutters out of your hand. So, fine. we'll go with the arm speed changeup. Yes, I think that is a huge pitch for him. You think about what he possesses, right? He got the fastball that rides up. He's kind of got that wipeout slider. He's got the knuckle curve that he's throwing there every once in a while. He doesn't really have he's got everything going north, east. He's got a little hump, and now he got something that a little change up to kind of go down and away, something moving the opposite direction, right?
I love the north, the east, the hump.
You know, he got a little curveball.
No, I
right?
know, I know. It's
you
good.
Know what I was saying? There you go.
It's good.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, and now he gets something going the opposite direction. I'll never forget Kenley Jansen was the same way. He had the four seam. He had that, obviously, that Mariano Rivera cutter pitch, but he needed something, as he would say, I need something that goes down. And so this is that for Cease if he can execute it.
All right. Chris, what do you think?
Oh, my goodness, what do I think? I mean, he's already got some of the best stuff in all of baseball, does he not?
He does.
I mean, without my analytic degree, when Dylan Cease is on, forget it, right? You can't hit the guy. And then if he gets a pitch that comes in about, 7-8 miles per hour slower than the rest of them,
yeah,
but it looks the same, we're looking at a couple more no-hitters.
Yeah. That would be nice and fun. In MLB The Show, I'm having a really hard time picking up on the changeup, guys. So need to figure that one out. Keep striking out. It's not good.
Number 4.
All right.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thanks, Chris, at least for acknowledging that.
Well, it's a changeup. You just wait longer.
Yeah,
right?
I realize that, but it doesn't come out
really?
always like that, Chris.
It's not happening.
It's okay not to be good at baseball.
But it's a video game. I have to be good at it. Anyway.
You don't have to be.
It's Chris's favorite time of the year, everybody. NFL Combine Week. He just rolled his eyes and stuck his tongue out. But
you know what I am getting a big kick out of, though, is the NFL Network trying to make it promote it and pump it up in some of those ads that they do, like your dreams start here.
Oh yeah, I have seen those. I have seen those.
Yeah. Don't miss it. The guy running 4.6 seconds and starting his Hall of Fame career. You need to be there for it.
Was Chris Jones the one who had a malfunction of his shorts while he was running?
That's terrible.
The 40-yard dash? I'm serious,
He
Chris.
is, yes. I saw the clip the other day, and I don't want to ever see it again.
It's hilarious. It is really funny. All right, so University of Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, considered to be one of the top 2 players at quarterback in April's draft, will not work out at the scouting combine in Indianapolis this week, sources told Chris's favorite source, ESPN. Though Sanders won't work out in Indy, he will meet with teams, the sources said. Quarterbacks are scheduled to arrive tomorrow, which actually the combine opened today. Their on-field workouts are slated for Saturday, but he's not going to do that. I haven't heard from about Cam Ward. I should have done a little bit of searching before I did this topic, honestly. But Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels did not throw last year. Chris, is it a bad idea to throw at the combine?
I think it is if the only direction you can go is down. And I feel like Sanders is probably in that
And
category.
I would say that a lot of guys say that they feel better throwing at their pro days because they're throwing with receivers that they're comfortable with in an area that they're comfortable with. And at the combine, you might not get the best guys, and it could mess up things.
I just think Shedeur Sanders, the less he does, the better, because he's been built up way better than I really think he is. So I think, this is my own opinion. I don't think the guy's going to be a great NFL quarterback right away, just from what I've seen.
Could take time.
And I've been wrong many times on these things. So I think he's better off just taking the hype and going into the draft that way.
All right, Tony, what do you think? Throwing at the combine, bad idea?
I don't. It just depends on who you are. I mean, I think it's different for each of the individual prospects. We've seen some big time quarterbacks go and throw there. We don't see it often because, as Chris said, you can only go down from there. I mean, just think, there's a lot of guys that go to this and they get scrutinized there so much, and then they get back to their pro day and they bring their stock back up. So, I think it's case by case is what it is on it, if it's good or bad.
Cam Ward is uncertain as to whether he's going to throw or not. He told Good Morning Football today.
He did, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Number 3.
Now, I'm going to say a name here. All right. I'm going to say a name. Was that Dave Marcus? I'm going to say a name here, and this is a name that I have pronounced to myself over 100 times, hoping to nail it, because it is a difficult name. But it's only been a few weeks since Luka Doncic has come to the Lakers. He already has a mural painted up in L.A. Artist Arutyan Gozochukian, I think I got that right.
Well, let's put it this way.
Arutyan
We certainly can't argue with you.
Gozochukian.
We don't know how to pronounce it.
Gozukuchian. That is the name. He shared photos of
pat
his...
himself on the back. Yeah, good for you. You got it
Thank
right.
you. Shared photo of his newest mural today, which is located at 8251 Melrose Avenue in L.A. The mural features a photo from a 2019 interaction between Doncic and Lakers legend Kobe Bryant. I'm going to put this photo up on the stream right now, and if you don't, if you're driving, you can go ahead and Google this, but they have the famous picture of Luka meeting Kobe, going for a high five. But the one thing that's different about this is that Luka is in a Lakers jersey. He is not in the Dallas Mavericks jersey that he was wearing when that photo took place. That's not the controversy. So, Tony, when should a mural be put up for a new player in a city?
I don't know. I don't know that this is a real thing, right? I mean, they're putting up murals all over the place everywhere. I think that's just cool art expression. I don't know that there necessarily needs to be something that's done that allows you to have a mural. Typically, it has been people that have had some type of significance to the community in which they are. I don't know, I'm not in LA, but I would assume that there are a lot of people who feel like Luka's already brought some happiness to their life. So I don't know. I don't have a set of rules that you should have to have a mural. I just think, generally speaking, it has been of people who have had an impact in your community.
Chris, when should a mural be put up for a new player in town?
When you this is fine. The minute you're required.
The minute you're required. Okay,
Yeah.
that's an answer at least.
Well, I don't have a good one for you on this. I mean, if the Padres, I could have seen somebody running out and putting a Juan Soto one up, the day he was even
I'm
brought
surprised
here.
that he doesn't have one. He's
Right?
like maybe
it
the
didn't
only
happen,
guy
but-
who doesn't have
Yeah, well, we have a
one.
lot of them around this town. I mean, there was a lot of excitement before he ever stepped on the field.
There
right?
was,
So
yeah.
somebody could have put a mural up. I will tell you, what's the address of that? Melrose, what, 80-something?
8251 Melrose
I
Avenue.
lived, but just 6 blocks from there growing up.
Oh,
wow.
Pretty close, because the 80 part is about the area I live, not
so
on
you are a
Melrose.
Dodgers fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Lifelong.
That's what I got from
Yes.
that.
Lifelong.
Yes.
I went to the Jace Tingler mural the other day, and it was just a little sad. All right.
Wow, is that funny? I'm pausing for all the listeners. I'm pausing for all the listeners to laugh. I want to give them a minute to chuckle. I want to give the listeners a moment to chuckle.
You got donged off the
Jace
Apollo show
Tingler
right there.
mural.
Nate said SD did a mural for Cease, and about 2 months later, it was widely reported the Pods were going to move him. See, that's why I'm like, anyway, I'm just going to move on. I have some more thoughts in the mural world later in the Skraby
Listen,
show.
that will maybe, those type of things happening will make people putting murals up think twice about it. Maybe it does. I don't know. Is it really bothering anybody? That's all I got to say.
I've only
people
driven
do.
by once or twice.
Do people not do tattoos of their favorite players who then move on, like get
That's
traded
true.
the next year? I'm sure that happens
Drake.
often.
Like Drake. What did he get a tattoo of?
LeBron James.
Oh, gosh. He's a Raptors fan. LeBron's never played for the Raptors.
Yeah, it's good. It is what it is.
Drake.
Number 2.
The Yankees recently got rid of their archaic beard policy. Now some fans are hoping to do away with another policy, and it's kind of controversial because one of the rumors as to why Juan Soto chose the Mets was because the Yankees would not include a free luxury suite for Juan Soto and his family throughout the length of his contract. Now, Aaron Judge, Tony's laughing. Aaron Judge just got a new deal, and he pays for his own suite. Derek Jeter is rumored to have paid for his own suite, and the Yankees decided if they give it to Soto, that sets a bad precedent and is slightly disrespectful for players who came before Soto. Chris.
Where did you get this?
He got it from the guy that said Sean Manaea didn't try. Same guy.
Chris, you heard the quote. You can't tell me that he didn't say he said he was lazy.
That is not the same as saying I'm not trying.
I think he was honestly, let's go back to Manaea for a second. I think when you say what he said, you're saying that he probably didn't maybe stay the extra hour in the weight room that he needed to do, put the extra mileage in, do the extra studying that he needed to do. I think those are the kinds of things he's talking about. But I can't believe he came here and didn't want to get anybody out. That would be kind of stupid.
Anyway, where did you get this from?
Back to this one.
I don't know where I got this from, but I've seen this from a few different people, honestly.
I feel like we've done this exact one.
Maybe
about
we have.
The suites and whether it's a good idea or a
No,
bad
we did
idea.
the security guard thing. Because Juan Soto apparently got mad at the security guard because he didn't let his family in without
we
credential.
did that one too. We did that one too with your Juan Soto hating behind.
Okay, so it's not about Juan Soto, everybody.
Before you get to finish with this, before we get off Juan Soto, Tony missed it the other day when I commended Juan Soto for buying a nice car for Brent Beatty.
No, I was there.
Oh, you were?
I was
okay.
there. I was
Good.
there.
All right. I just wanted to get that in before I rip him for this one.
All right, well, we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to wait till the other side because the question's not about Juan Soto at all. It's about the Yankees. Do you have an issue with the Yankees not giving suites in contracts? Is the question. I even believe, and I don't know this for sure, so please do not quote me on this, but I believe that Yu Darvish pays for his own suite. So
move on.
There you go.
Don't quote him on that one.
Don't quote me on it. Just quote me on Sean Manaea.
Said it.
Just quote me on Sean Manaea, everybody. We got two more topics of the Big Five when we get back on 97.3 The Fan.
happy hour. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Skraby, 5:01 on the clock. Finishing up our Big Five that is carried over.
I didn't plan for this, guys. Did not plan for the carryover today, but it's here, and we're going to embrace it, okay? So let's get back into it. Juan Soto. The question was not about Juan Soto. The question was being asked because it was brought up that Juan Soto went to the Mets because the Yankees wouldn't give him a free suite for the duration of his contract.
Has Cashman ever confirmed that? Did his ownership ever confirm that? Is that still?
Skraby doesn't need a confirmation if it's something negative about Juan Soto.
Okay,
Good point.
fair enough. Go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
Chris, do you have an issue with the Yankees not giving suites in contracts?
First of all,
ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. It really is.
Hey, you guys told me it was ridiculous when I said that players wouldn't go to the Yankees if they couldn't grow a beard, and look what happened. They rescinded the rule because of that very problem.
I understand the Yankees not wanting to do it. If it's all true and Juan Soto really asked for it and the Yankees said no, and then Juan Soto said, well, then I'm leaving, and went across town. So if all that's true, fine. But if you didn't give one to Derek Jeter and you didn't give one to the next guy in the I think it's kind of hard to say, yeah, we're going to give one to this particular guy.
All right.
But the Yankees are doing a lot. Not only have they put the beard back in, which means you're now eligible to be a Yankee, Scrabe.
No, you're not.
Well, I know, if he had any talent. The other
he wasn't
thing,
listening to anything.
No, you said, yeah, Chris, we talked about the beard thing. I was looking for Brian Cashman's quote on the whole thing because
I wasn't here for beard talk on Friday.
Oh.
But the other thing they did is they're not going to play New York, Frank Sinatra after they lose a game anymore.
Second time I've been able to prove my point here.
How did you prove what point?
Wait, what's your point?
From December 11th, 2024, Brian Cashman speaking with the media. Brian Cashman said he has no regrets with how Juan Soto negotiations played out and doesn't think the Yankees could have done anything differently. He also said he does not believe Soto's request for a suite, nor a reported issue with the club security played any part. Quote, some high-end players that make a lot of money for us, if they want suites, they buy them. End quote. Boom.
Chakalaka.
For the second time today, baby!
I just asked you if he ever commented on that.
I know
That's all
you did,
asked you.
but I just want to prove it because Chris is in the room and he has
First
doubts
of all,
in
stop
me.
taking credit for the first one. Your point is not proven on the first one. I'm sorry. I don't care what you have to say. Anyway, my turn?
Yes. Do you have any problems with the Yankees not giving suites out to players?
No. As Cashman said, most everybody I know who's got a suite, they got to pay for that. Now, maybe I don't know, maybe some do discounted rates. I don't know, but mostly everybody's got to pay for those. I mean,
they can certainly afford them.
There's a reason why they are ownership. They operate under a different system. You know, they need that cheese for those seats. So
I agree.
Those owners don't have enough money.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that at all.
Not only are you giving, say, Juan Soto $760 million, but then you're losing all the money on the 15 years of free suites that he's getting as well. I mean, it doesn't make business sense.
That seems a little bit far-fetched.
Thank you, Dan, for
especially
saying.
when you
go ahead.
Especially when you know that people will buy those seats.
Yeah. Dan says 2-0 today, champion Skraby. Thank you very much. Dan,
you ain't 2-0. You 1-1. You win, Dan. 1-1.
All right, now this one is for a good cause, but it's also kind of interesting. We see a lot of sports memorabilia auctioned off, no matter how weird the item is. Well, Adrian Wojnarowski has taken it to a new level for a good cause. He is auctioning off many items he used throughout his reporting career at ESPN. He's auctioning press badges, IDs, and the many iPhones he used throughout his career. Currently, I got to go look at the website real quick once again, because currently the highest offer on an iPhone right now is $750, and it was the very iPhone that break the NBA suspending the season for COVID. Tweet from that phone is what he's auctioning off. So he's doing this to raise NIL money for the St. Bonaventure basketball team, where he currently works as the GM of the team. There are also like video chats you can buy and other things, but the cell phones are the main items. Tony, would you want to take home a part of history in a
No,
cell
I
phone?
wouldn't. That personally, no, I'm not into that kind of thing. But I think it's a great idea. I like that he's got creative on this to find a way to raise money for his NIL and his college program. I personally don't want the COVID phone or any of the badges or any of that stuff. But I can see why it would be appealing to someone to go get something.
It literally is a paperweight.
Yeah, no. I mean, what are you doing with it? Hanging around your neck?
It doesn't even
keep
work
it in your pocket?
I don't know that it doesn't work, but he also has an iPhone used to break Paul George Kawhi to the Clippers. He has an iPhone that was used for his farewell tweet. He also has an iPhone used for the 2023 draft lottery and draft with Wemby. So that one's not going for very much, $250.
You're
Chris?
going off the subject here. The idea was, do you like what he's doing here? Right? Is that the question, or is the question?
Well,
would
I said,
buy
would you
this?
want that? Yeah, but
of course,
because I think we all like what he's doing.
You know,
here.
I wouldn't buy this. I don't like any of that stuff. But having said that, I have it's in like a cup. I have like credentials from the. It's not on display, is what I mean. It's in a plastic cup. There's a few of them in there. But I have a credential from like the Lakers-Pistons finals of 1988. So I think it's kind of neat to have it, I guess, but I don't show it off. I have a few of those. But I like what he's doing here. He's raising money for something that he needs the money. I mean, look, St. Bonnie doesn't have the same NIL money as other schools. So I like people that are creative. And, this is a little different, but we talked about it a couple of days ago. You heard about the Illinois kid who had his jersey retired, Tony, and they hung it upside down in the rafters.
Shannon Jr., I believe.
Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it, but
Okay, so they dropped his number down, and it was upside down.
Yeah.
Well, he created a T-shirt out of that, and he said, when life turns you upside down, get back up. And he's selling it for charity, and I think that's a great move. Taking a negative and twisting it to a positive. Very good.
All right. Well, Kirk Kenny just texted me, friend of the show, said he's going to auction off his laptop from 2004 if anybody would like it. So, I mean,
I would like it if he broke a story on there.
It's the same laptop that he did all of the Kevin O'Connell games from, Chris.
Okay, I don't know. It's got to have something good on there.
He also is offering his credential from the 1985 CIF football championship.
I like
now,
it.
were there any NFL players in that football championship?
Who was it? Who we need to find out who was in that game.
I was at that game. I'm trying to remember.
You
85.
were at?
Yeah, 85. I would have been there. I'm thinking Vista Helix, maybe.
Wow, are you serious right now?
I don't know. Kirk will tell you if I'm right.
I'm gonna look it up.
Vista Helix was around that 85 time.
Yeah, Kirk's listening. So it was.
They were around like the 2000 time too. Both of those teams.
Southern section, I would assume.
Southern section 3A championship.
Why didn't Kirk just tell you? He texted you all this information.
Just wait for Kirk to tell you. What are you gonna look this up?
No, he just
We got a show to actually do. We can't. Be
I'm looking for 1985. Kirk, just tell me. Anyway, there you go. That's it.
All right.
It's very weird though that people will buy an iPhone used to tweet.
I don't think so anymore. I mean, if people want to feel like they're part of something.
People buy a lot weirder stuff than
very
that, quite
weird
frankly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Anything. People like this memorabilia thing. I'm not a big,
You are. I mean, you
have?
You have a mini helmet for every team in the NFL. That's memorabilia.
No, that doesn't belong to anybody. That just belongs to something I bought and it's mine. I didn't get it because
still memorabilia.
All right, well,
it's not memorabilia.
I
but
perceive
he has
memorabilia to be like a
collection.
signed this or that by somebody.
All right,
I kind of feel the same way.
All right, see, he agrees. Tony agrees on that.
I have a Deion Sanders signed card from when I was a kid. And, I mean, what am I going to do with that?
You hate Deion.
I don't hate. I hate Coach Prime. Do not hate Prime Time.
Same guy. It's the same guy.
No, you
hate him.
You've said he's different, right?
No, I would say he's different in better ways as a coach.
I think Sweetwater is one of the teams from what I'm seeing.
84, Sweetwater played Vista. I'm almost sure that was 84. That's why I'm thinking 85. Sweetwater had moved out and Vista had moved on. But I could be, it's around there. See what Kirk says.
Do you realize that this was the year that I was born?
I was alive. I happened to be alive at the time. Sorry,
that is
about that.
wild to me.
Sorry, Padres went to the World Series a few months later.
1984. Same field. Same field.
That's awesome.
Actually, Padres went to the World Series before Vista and Sweetwater played in the '84.
Really? They got
CIF
done
final.
They got done before?
Yeah, because the World Series had been October of '84. Vista Sweetwater final was in December of '84.
Wow.
I'm thinking
I guess
end
so.
of a high school
no,
football
you're right.
season.
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah, same stadium though.
George is asking Tony, "What's your most prized collectible?" I think I know which one it is.
He loves his.
but-
He's got the jerseys. Tony.
Well, I was
Is
gonna
that
let
what you're
him
going to go
answer,
with?
but-
Oh, go. What do you got? Which one? Pujols.
I have a signed Kobe jersey.
Wow, that's pretty.
So I
big.
thought he was going to.
That's pretty big.
But I also have my dad gave it to my wife, this basketball that's signed by Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Whoa.
So
He doesn't sign like a ton of stuff.
No wonder Tony doesn't let you into his house. He's worried you're going to abscond with some of his stuff.
I don't even know where to sell it, Chris.
I
bet you
know,
could
the
figure
funny
out a
thing
way
is,
to send a Michael Jordan ball.
I haven't even taken the Kobe Bryant jersey out of the box that it was given to me in. It's
I wouldn't
still,
either.
I haven't
Too nervous?
hung it up, or I don't know. I just haven't got around to doing it. I don't think.
I'm the worst memorabilia keeper ever because I think I told you this. Your dad gave me a pair of his gloves one time,
and you used
and I
them.
went out and used them for my Sunday baseball league. They're signed and everything, and I just used them.
I definitely did that as a kid.
Yeah.
My dad got me a couple autographs. I definitely used bat and ball.
I needed the gloves. It's more important. So
that's an '80s baby right there, and a '60s baby right there. That's how we got down.
My dad has he was a huge fan of Kareem when he was growing up, and so he has a signed Sports Illustrated cover by Kareem. That's like a prized possession.
Okay.
Still don't know what to do with
see,
it. but-
hold that thought. Let's get the break.
Yeah.
On the other side, we can talk a little bit more about this. We can also talk about SDFC taking down the Galaxy in a pretty exciting match.
Hell yeah.
Get to that on the other side. More
Can you
Gwynn and
tell
Chris
we
in
have a
traffic.
new fan in studio?
From the
5:20 is the time. Sure, the Padres lost a spring training game today, but what about the San Diego Football Club? What a performance last night, Tony Gwynn Jr. in the opener, not just the season opener, but the historical franchise opener. They go on the road. They play the defending champs. They whoop them 2-0. It should have been worse, Tony. I don't know if did you get a chance to see any of it? Because
I only saw the highlights.
Apple TV did show it for free, which gave me a chance to watch it, and we dominated. It wasn't even like 2-0 was the score, but they had more chances than that. The LA goalkeeper made a couple of saves there that kept it from getting much further out of hand. So, I mean, I told Skraby it'd be like an expansion team going into KC and beating the Chiefs. And beating them big. LA Galaxy did not lose a home game last year. They didn't lose a single home game. But they lost last night.
That last goal was sick. I saw the pass to
what
get
a
it
run
there.
He made. Yeah.
Whew, that was beautiful. Now, I do know that, or at least I've been told. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know. But I've been told that the Galaxy lost a bunch of their better players in free agency due to the way the salary cap works in MLS, so I don't know if it's as strong a team as last year, but either way, it's a fantastic win to start off your first season as an expansion team. Now they come home, right, and they play
Saturday, St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Saturday is the opener, 7 o'clock. Skraby and I were scrounging for tickets earlier. There are certainly some of we were online looking for tickets. We were not it was too expensive for us because we're cheapskates for sure.
I was called a cheapskate.
But I mean, it's going to cost you a little something to get in. But
$87 is not
right.
a cheap price, okay? And again, I'm not saying it's the football club's fault. It's MLS's fault. Sorry.
Maybe don't yell. We all here, man.
Anyway, you can get tickets. There's some available for the game Saturday. By the way, does anybody know the musical artist Thames? Does that ring a bell to anyone? TEMS.
I know who Thames is.
You do? All right. Grammy Award winning, also Oscar-nominated singer. She's from Nigeria. Songwriter, producer, Thames, has joined SDFC ownership group as a club partner.
All right.
Ahead of this season. Thames wrote, I guess on her social media, "Hey, San Diego, it's Thames. I'm so excited to be part of SDFC. I'm thrilled to join San Diego's ownership group, be a part of a club that celebrates creativity, culture, and community. Football unites people." Anyway, she's excited.
Yeah, she did. She joined. Her and somebody, her and someone else joined a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to remember. It was another celebrity. Same day, it felt like they both joined. I'll figure out who it is before we get it going.
Whoever that is did not make this story, but I know that we are at the San Diego FC. SDFC is at the top of the table right now, Skraby, in the Major League Soccer. Awesome.
It's fantastic.
Hey, it's a good start.
I'll be going to the game on Saturday.
Great start.
Skraby's going to the game, the opener, Saturday night.
Are you really?
He's going as a media guy. He's certainly not paying the $80 fee.
Oh, I was about to say you were just complaining about the $80. Now you're going.
Well, I don't really want to tell people that, but I guess I should be honest and just say that yes, I am going with a press pass.
Oh, you wanted to keep your "We Are the People" kind of badge going there, and you realize that you're using your power to find a way into the game free there, huh, buddy?
You ought to keep your credential in about 20 years. You can sell that sucker.
That is a great point, Chris.
Yeah, when the SDFC wins its 20th straight MLS title, you can say, "I was at the first. I was at the first match. Here's my credential."
You changed, Grabe.
I've changed.
You changed, man.
You
would have never taken a free pass before. You would have stood in line and paid your money. Now you're just gonna skip the line and just head on into the game, huh?
I've worked for free for like most of my radio career, so I will take advantage of these things when I can.
If anybody at the SDFC is listening, and is handling the seating box arrangement for the press people
Okay,
on Saturday.
don't listen to this guy.
Understand that Skraby really isn't doing anything
That's
at
not
the game.
true.
He's just going there to be seen, so you can put him kind of in the back
Chris
row.
acts like I am
Won't
this
really matter.
huge, like outgoing person where I ended up just like hiding in the corner.
But what are
forever.
you going to do at the game? Are
I'm
you
going to
gonna
go
get
and I'm
sound?
going
Are
to
you
take
gonna interview
pictures.
people?
I'm
What are
going
you
to put
gonna
stuff
do?
up on
So
social media.
You're working. I
On
want to see you
Monday,
work.
you're going to come back and you're going to
You
have
have a-
like 2 segments of
Yeah,
stuff for
you'll
us.
have a wealth of stuff to bring in.
I think I can have 1 segment, but 2 segments is stretching it.
I mean, I did
I gotta
two-
take like at least 4 pictures, Chris.
4 pictures you're going to take. Wow. All right. That's
I'm glad you're honest there, buddy.
certainly worthy of a credential if you ask me.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm going with Adam. Adam like does all the work. I ask him if he needs help, and he says he doesn't. So I just go and walk
Gonna
away.
tag along with him?
Yeah, I will be there to help him, but you know, if that game's a little bit of a blowout, might be heading home a little bit early.
What's a blowout? 2-0?
I don't know, honestly. Yes, Tony, you pointed at us.
Issa Rae, that's who it was, who is she's an actress and producer.
Okay.
Director, I should say. She's the other
celebrity
that
part of
that
the
joined that
SDS.
same day. Yeah.
I'm kind of upset because today, of all days, would have been the day to wear my jersey.
Your jersey.
I mean, come on. I should have worn it with
I thought
pride
about
today.
it too. I actually looked
And
at it in my
and
closet.
I forgot to wear it. I thought
I'm
about
not
it.
mad at what you got on though.
Oh, no, it's
I
good.
said, I'm not mad at what you got on though.
Speaking of San Diego State,
that's
though,
proper.
Tony, I had the ultimate rant earlier. You got to
Sure
get
did.
in on this.
Sure did.
And Mark
Oh,
Ziegler,
man.
Mark Ziegler gave me publicity on my rant in his article today in the paper. Wait till you hear
Talk
about
to
this,
me.
Tony.
Wait, does it have to do with the officials?
Of course. What else would
Of
it have to
course.
do with it?
I could have predicted
After
that.
the
was what
Aztec
it is.
game Saturday night, of course it has to do with the officials, but not maybe in the
Yeah,
way
let's-
you think.
Let's talk about it on the other side for
All
sure.
right. We will.
This is your turn. So
Yeah,
well,
I
Skraby,
said-
we got 30 more seconds though, hon, before we can go.
We can't go early?
We're going to be naming the biggest fan when we get back.
People are a little crazy with the biggest fan thing.
They really are.
Like it's 5:30, and people start getting mad when it's 5:20 that we haven't
Well, we
announced
do,
it yet.
but we do-
Like,
well,
why are you
that
getting
is
mad?
true.
We don't announce it early. It's 5:30.
There is some false advertising that we can't figure out because we're saying we're giving away at 5:30, but we've been instructed
All
to
right,
be in a
sometimes
break
it's-
at 5:30.
Yes,
so.
I know. We're not supposed to be on the air at 5:30, so. But look, but
That
stop.
doesn't have anything to do with it at 5:20.
Right,
though.
that
I mean,
doesn't
5:20 is
change
not
the fact that
anything.
people are complaining when it's 5:20.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Stick around for the biggest fan announcement, which will be in your future as well.
On Tuesday's show, the Aztecs.
Listen up, listen up, listen up, listen up. Congratulations to today's biggest fan, Comer Mosley of San Diego. Give us a call back within the next 10 minutes, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan.
All right, Comer. Yeah.
Comer
haven't heard that
Mosley.
name
I've never heard of
previously,
Comer either.
But we want to hear from you, Comer.
You're on the clock, buddy.
10 minutes. Skraby is tight on that clock, by the way.
I just started
He
the.
does not play around.
No, he does not.
Tick, 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 tick. 9 minutes and 43 seconds.
All right, Tony, let me
Were
give
we
you this
supposed to
story
do-
real quick on the,
Oh, yeah,
on
let me
the
get the story.
Aztec game. So the
Please.
other night, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the game when Guath got injured.
I didn't see it. I heard about it.
All right, so he goes down under the basket. The stupid referees do not blow the whistle. The Aztecs run up the floor. Then Utah State gets the ball. Then they run down the floor. The Utah State guy goes up, dunks the ball, almost lands on Guath. The Aztec trainer, Sergio Ibarra, is actually out on the court, basically under the basket, trying to shield Guath from any further damage. And these
'Cause
officials,
they won't blow the whistle.
They didn't blow the whistle, and Dutcher's losing his mind after. Anyway, I tweeted in the wake of this, and I was not pleased. And I said basically that these officials embarrassed all of us out there who officiate. And I said no excuse will do. Mark Ziegler wrote that tweet in his story today in the paper.
Nice.
He said,
Nice.
local talk radio host Chris Ello, a longtime high school basketball official, unloaded on the three-man officiating crew.
I love that.
Posting on social media. But I didn't know if you saw it, but I was really angry, and I said earlier, I think Dutcher, although he's not the guy to grandstand normally, I do think you have to make a call, and you have to say, look, I mean, these officials have to be held accountable in a situation like this. Can't be letting a guy, a star player. I mean, Magoon Guath is headed for stardom, and he's underneath the basket. As Skraby said, look, if the Martinez guy dunked the ball, he could have injured himself, falling on Guath as well.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you got the Aztec trainer runs right out on the floor. Trainers know not to run out unless it's a serious, injury. And the official was right there and did not blow the whistle. And I was apoplectic over all of that. So,
I mean, listen, when I heard, I mean, in a lot of the Aztecs losses this year have, we haven't been hearing too many of blame it on the refs type deal. That's all I heard after this last Utah State one.
I know.
It was one of those type of deals, and you and I have talked about it a while. We are not fans, particularly of the Mountain West and their officiating. It seems to always be on the Aztec side of things too. That is the part that's irritating about
the thing
it
that
all.
also irritates both you and I, Tony, is the fact that in a lot of these games, as was the case Saturday night, they call everything, right, on both teams. But, I mean, there's just a parade to the free throw line. And as I was watching the game, I was thinking to myself, you know why that when the NCAA tournament comes around, teams like Utah State go in there and get their butts kicked every time? It's because they don't get these same calls in an NCAA tournament game.
That's the exact
right?
That's a great point.
And the Aztecs,
great point.
On the other side, the Aztecs know that in the NCAA tournament, you can play a little more aggressive, physical defense, and you'll get away with it. And the Aztecs are able to take advantage of that. But a team like Utah State, I think, is waiting for these calls. There was 54 free throws in the game, Tony. That's absurd.
That's crazy.
It's absurd. The Mountain West officials call it way too, soft. And when you get to the tournament, Utah State will get crushed again because they're not going to get these calls.
That's why the Aztecs have had more success.
Yeah,
is because
for sure.
they're built for it. So
yeah,
it's disappointing. But I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this rant now. This is when was this rant? Yesterday?
No, today.
Or not
well,
yesterday,
the tweet
today.
was last night, and then I went into it.
Today it was
on the
around
show
like
earlier.
2:40.
Yeah. But I was.
Oh, he
I
used
was,
your tweet though.
I
Okay,
was.
yeah, yeah.
I was enthused by the fact that Ziegler. I didn't ask him. I didn't tell him, but he just used my tweet. I was like, yes.
And then me not even
anyway.
knowing about the tweet, I texted Mark this morning to get him on this week, and he goes, "We have to talk about Chris's tweet." I'm like, "What is this tweet?" And then Chris talked, "Oh, Ziegler used my tweet."
He did. He used it. I liked it. I was excited. I want
That's
the
awesome.
Mountain West put on notice. I mean, that was unexcusable. And the game bothered me enough, but that's just normal complaining. But, you know, when a guy's lying under the basket, and you could get seriously hurt, obviously, if somebody lands on you, and you've already potentially torn your ACL. We don't know what the final analysis is on Guath yet. But when he's lying there in that kind of situation.
Is that a possibility?
Yes.
I hadn't heard that.
You know, yeah, it's a hyperextended knee for now. But he's having an MRI today.
They haven't got it. They haven't had pictures yet.
No.
Oh no!
So yeah, he could be done for the year, and that could basically kind of torpedo the season. But it wasn't.
Oh,
It
not
obviously,
happy note.
it obviously wasn't
Yeah,
bad enough for them to blow
I
the
wasn't ready
whistle.
for that.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't bad enough for these. Never mind.
Whoa!
I almost called him a name, and I don't want
Cattywampus.
to stoop to that level.
Cattywampus referees.
They were all over the bar.
All
They did a
right,
bad job.
let's check some traffic and then get to the Padres. PPP.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, looks like that motorcycle accident has cleared on North 163 to the eastbound 8 connector ramp, but now getting reports of a possible brush or encampment fire near the Mesa College off-ramp of southbound 163. Some smoke visible from the right shoulder. Also, northbound 805, a stalled vehicle on the University Avenue off-ramp. Crashed near the border, southbound 5, right past Camino de la Plaza. Got a couple cars involved there over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time to ask the experts, Padres fans.
I was hoping maybe you can bring a little insight into it.
Write us, tweet us, Facebook us, send a carrier pigeon for Chris. He thinks they're cute. Padres Pen Pals begins
Hurt the pelota big time.
now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Before we get into it, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Read that a couple times and did not read it very well there, so we're going to leave it right at that. And we're going to get into the Padres Pen Pals. We actually have some positive pen pals today, guys. And we'll start with this first one. They are blaming the San Diego media for something. So let's get into it. I'm not really blaming you guys for this, but I am saying collectively, the media in San Diego really had me thinking this team was going to be awful in 2025 all off-season long. This team actually seems to be looking okay. My question to you is, Chris, you're up first. Did the San Diego media create the doom and gloom narrative in this offseason?
I can't speak for the entire San Diego media. Can only speak for the people on this show who kept reminding everybody that the offseason was not over until it was over. But I think the negativity that you're feeling out there doesn't come so much from what the Padres didn't do as opposed to what the Dodgers did do. And I think people took what the Dodgers did, especially getting Sasaki when the Padres really wanted him, and kind of put that down as it's going to be a terrible year. But all the while, the Padres still have all these players back, and they've added some nice pieces, and they should still compete, which I think we said all along, through all of the negativity.
All right, Tony, do you believe that San Diego media is responsible for the doom and gloom narrative?
Well, this is a tricky question, I think. I think the answer is that if what you consider media is UT, the Athletic,
Radio,
your main radio, like your mainstream, I would say no. But I think in 2025, you also have to consider the blogs, the different outlets. And so if you're including that, then you have a mixed bag of negativity.
I never even considered that.
Versus what the old, I guess, idea of media would be. Because I think for the most part, I mean, I've read most of everything that's coming from Kevin. I've read everything that's mostly coming from AJ. I've read everything that's come from Dennis. And they're just reporting what is actually happening. So where is the negativity coming from? I would say in some of the newer media in San Diego. But I would say the large majority of it comes from Twitter or X. And that's where, the most of the negativity comes from. I can't think of very many media outlets, old school media outlets at least, that had any negative stories in terms of painting a bleak picture outside of reporting what was actually happening at that time.
I didn't even think about what you said, and you are 100% right, Tony. At first, when I was asked this question, I was like, well, our show, no. I know of other shows in the city that do the doomer thing, but you're right. It's the blogs. It's the people within the blogs that are making this doom and gloom narrative. Because I have read those blogs.
That's where I've seen it. That's where I've seen most of it.
Yes.
But I honestly would say that it's more Twitter than it is anything else.
They're getting
terms
confused.
Of the doom and gloom, yeah.
Adam Klug just texted me. Negativity comes from social media. It's true. I mean, it is something
Wow.
there. But
Boy, Adam, firing up.
I know. He's on Twitter for the station a lot. He sees a lot of negativity. So,
yeah, he is. He's on there.
He's on there. But yeah, the blogs, that's really interesting. I'm going to go back and tell this person that do you read those blogs? But anyway.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on where you get your news from.
Yes, that is true. There are many different news sources.
Right.
I am new to Padres baseball and trying to get into it. There's something I keep seeing on social media, and that's fans saying the Padres are at a disadvantage because they don't have a TV contract. Tony, what does that mean, and is it a big deal they don't have one?
They aren't the only ones that don't have one. Let's just say that. Is it a big deal? It's a big deal in terms of what? Whether the Padres have some extra cash laying around? Yeah, it probably would come in handy right now if they had a deal in place. And so, yeah, I don't know what the fix is, though, honestly. We see that local baseball on television seems to be floundering a little bit. Like, it's not really taking hold outside of the big dogs that have their own network. And so, this is going to be one of the greatest feats that Manfred has to somehow pull off. I think this is his legacy right here. Can he figure out a way to get this TV thing in the right direction? I think that's what we'll remember him for, honestly. Like, if he gets it right, it's going to be huge for Major League Baseball. If he gets it wrong, it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. As you said on
Friday. I don't know what that entails, but it won't be good. I'm sure of it.
As you said on Friday, you were saying about the whole money thing. Gosh dang it just left my head. Darn it. Darn it.
Welcome to old age.
What were we just talking about? TV contracts. You were saying, okay.
TV contract.
Rob Manfred is practicing business malpractice if he let ESPN go with the $550 million a year and doesn't have another deal in place.
I think we were saying the article was saying that, yeah. That was saying that
if he doesn't have another deal in place, then that's malpractice. Yeah. But you're right. This is what he's going to be remembered for. And I don't want to be him in this situation. That is for sure.
I mean, listen. You either the cream rises to the top, or you're not, or it's not going to. And I think for him, I don't know. He seems to be confident in this. So I don't know what he's got, but I feel like he's got something that's going to bring him in.
Anything to add, Chris?
Just one question. As of right now, because I honestly don't know either, are the Padres on TV this year on the Padre channel? Or has that not yet been determined?
I think it'll be this. I think it's going to be the same as it was last year.
Okay. So
Where I think you have a cable option if you already paid for the Padres package, and then you could also go online and purchase it from the Padres themselves.
All right. All right. I don't care about the rest of the people out there. Only want to know if I can watch Padre baseball.
I think that's how we all are.
Right. I'm not thinking of any of the other.
I mean, you should have seen the anger in my face last night when I tried to watch SDFC, and then I realized I needed Apple TV for SDFC.
I was good. I was
I
good.
care about myself. Don't worry about it.
Everybody out there don't care what's going on with you. But if I
Sorry.
can see it, that's all that matters.
I'm good.
All right, last one from me. I got an Eggy Rosario
Wait,
jersey.
this is from you?
No.
This is from
yeah,
you?
I realized
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah. No, this is from a fan. I got an Eggy Rosario jersey last year because I think he's going to be a big contributor to the Padres going forward. I saw some promise from him last year, and I'm seeing the same power so far in spring. Chris, do you think Eggy makes the team on opening day?
I gave you my 26-man opening day roster about a week ago, maybe longer. He was on it.
Any thoughts of taking Yuli Gurriel off the list?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's a little early. Really, are you going to make a decision
good,
based on
too.
4 games?
No, I'm just asking
Oscar,
a question.
Because if you do, then Oscar Gonzalez is the starting left fielder, and that's all said and done. But long way to go. I think Gurriel's got a good shot, but there's a lot of guys. I must say the Padres have done a good job of making it competitive for a lot of guys. It's not just there for the taking. Those last 3 or 4 spots, and that's good. Competition creates, good performances.
Yeah,
So
brings the best out of people.
Right.
You put your right foot forward, Chris.
Or your best.
Hey, Tony, before we get into this, when you walk,
Oh God.
what?
See the kind of things you miss when you're with Jesse?
Well, Jesse brought up. I'm not a physicist like Jesse.
Go
He's bringing
ahead.
up gravity in Seattle versus
Just
Miami.
straight. Go ahead and ask your
Okay,
question.
When
man.
you take a step, which leg do you usually lead with?
I don't know. What?
Nobody
one
knows. Nobody
no one knows. You go
I guess
right
my
leg.
right?
Yes.
Scraby's-
You put your right foot forward.
It doesn't mean just
But
because
it
he
doesn't,
does,
it doesn't mean I do it.
everybody does.
Right? It doesn't mean I do it all the time.
Scraby thinks
That's
he's onto
crazy.
something. He thinks every human being on earth, when they start to walk, steps
What if
first with their
what
right
if they're
foot.
left foot? What if they're left dominant?
He doesn't care about that. He is
I've
convinced
never seen a person
that
that's
everyone
left
starts with their right foot.
What?
I've
Yeah.
never seen a
You've
person.
never actually paid it. You've never actually paid attention that hard. Come on, dude.
Gonzo says everyone does both. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I
at
think
all.
that's probably more accurate.
All right, Tony. Do you think Eggy makes the team on opening day?
I think he's got a good chance. I do. We 4 days into this bad boy.
Do you think he's the MVP of the Padres?
Does he win the spring training
Golden
Steve
Spikes?
Arlen Award or whatever they call it for best spring player?
No, I think he's got a good chance. I think a day like today where he's facing a righty, and does what he does, I think that's a step in the right direction. But quite frankly, everybody who is competing for that spot has played pretty well. So, go figure.
That is true. Emma Key says that's how you tell if someone is a goofy-footed person. You push them from behind. If they step with their right first, they're goofy. Do you know what goofy and regular is, Chris?
I know what. Goofy regular?
Goofy and regular. Do you know what that is?
Goofy and regular? I don't
Yeah.
know, but it sounds like something you have to do with. I don't know. What?
It's like if you're skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing. It's like
okay.
Goofy.
I think
yeah,
goofy-footed
no.
means you're left-footed.
I would
first.
think, yeah. What Padre said this?
Oh, okay. Yes,
Recently.
we're done with the Padres Pen Pals. Thank you.
Recently, Padre said this, and I quote it. Last year, the umpires were terrible. Everybody knows that. The umpires call everything a strike. We want to walk too, but they don't help us. They help the pitchers. This year, I am coming to take a lot of walks. Let's see if the umpires are coming good this year. I don't want to put excuses, but they were bad last year.
Wow. Is that
Anybody
a
want to
player?
guess which Padre said that?
Was that a recent? There's a
That's a
Padre now?
Yeah, it's right here in black and white. According to, I believe, it's a Kevin Acey thing. Kevin didn't
I'm
say
going to talk
it.
about a guy who doesn't get many walks Luis
said that?
Arise? It doesn't sound like something he would say.
That is what he said.
Really?
According to this, last year, Luis Arise said last week at the Peoria Sports Complex.
Wow.
In the UT.
I should have, the way you read that, I should have thought of Luis, but I didn't think he would say nothing like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
He
Luis.
seems like such a nice guy. He wouldn't take
Luis
shots.
Luis said, "I'm taking all shots, all newcomers. Let's go."
Here it is.
I got two healthy thumbs. Y'all not stopping me this year.
And he said he's going to walk. See, he didn't want to make excuses. He's kind of putting a little blame on the umpires for why he didn't walk in that statement anyway.
I believe him then.
Interesting.
I don't think he's an excuse maker.
No, he's not, and I love the guy, and I hope
He's
he
not,
hits
and even
380
in all of the times that he was considering those coaches, those umpires bad, you would have never known because he didn't turn around and say anything to anybody.
Right. He's not that kind of guy. I wanted to just
He just wanted to wait till Kevin Acey got out there so he could put it out
Gave
there.
that to Kevin.
Doug Eddings somewhere is angry.
One of our brethren in the sportscasting world, Al Troutwig, may know that name. Did a bunch of Olympic stuff. He's a little older than you guys. 68 years old. Passed away today.
68.
Did a lot of
wow.
Did a lot of stuff in New York. Did a lot of international sporting events, and I remember Al Troutwig. So good broadcaster. Sorry to hear of his passing today. We good?
Yeah, it's sad.
Everybody good?
That's sad, yes.
All right.
We good.
All right. Skraby's Chronicles are next. Tony Skraby tomorrow with Sam Levitt on the fill-in.
That's right.
He'll probably do so
Sammy
well, you guys won't
Lev.
ask me back. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.
People can only hope.
Padres